And Sal is your nickname is really easy because in all the sheets I built for my OneNote, I didn't know your character name, so I just put Sam.
Yeah,
So
and now
I
you're
could
just gonna
go,
change one letter.
that's right. Got to decapitalize it and change a letter. Super.
Yeah.
Bam.
Do not call her Sally, though you will die.
All right, good to know.
Sally. That's rough,
Whoa.
buddy. That's rough.
Yeah.
The amount I was looking at the Scion stuff and I was like, I'm never using this. This seems really hard to make happen.
It's the kind of thing where maybe you maybe you only use it in an emergency.
I mean, I'm gonna have to. Like, I'm sure I will, but like,
yeah, sure. Something will come up where you're like, I've got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just to me, the bigger thing about it is that it's exhausting.
Yeah, well, so you get as many points as you what is it? What just popped up? Oh,
Hi, everybody.
are we on?
I think so. I hope so.
I don't know.
We'll find out. I'm sure if we're not, they'll tell us.
Someone will
Hello.
let us know.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for session 1 of Yuma Station, a Traveler 2.0 actual play on the Happy Jacks RPG Network. I am Bill, the GM or story keeper, or I think in Traveler, it's called the referee. It's a little weird. But no matter what the name, I have the distinct privilege and charge of coming up with interesting situations and challenges for our lovely cast. So without further preamble, let's go around the virtual tabletop and have everyone introduce themselves and their characters, at least what you know about them. I was going to go in alphabetical order by your first name. How good are you at your alphabet, people? Your real first name. Who would be first?
Clara?
I think it's me. I can say the alphabet backwards. I don't know it forwards. Hi, I'm Clara, and I'm playing Blue Lynn Wallace. I got psionic when we did these roles. Traveler is random, and I love it, and I kind of hate it. So that's happening now. We haven't started playing. I have nothing to say about this character.
That's right. It's gonna happen. Let's see. Who would be next alphabetically by first name?
That would be me, as I fiddle with my audio.
It said CADave. That's what threw me off.
Oh,
That's what
I
throws
see.
me off.
Yes.
Oh, I
same.
see. Oh, come on. He said your real name. I don't have to go
Your
sign
real
a
name?
check,
It says
CADave.
Dave?
Anyway, I am CADave, and I'll be playing Benjamin Lister, famous vlogger of conspiracies and seeker of truths.
Excellent. Who's next?
I think that's me.
Yes, good job.
Hey.
We are so good. We know our alphabet. I'm so
You know,
proud of
yeah,
us.
Most of it. Hi, y'all. Dave Holtham here, and I am playing Miles, a former naval officer and engineer who is from a very fancy family.
Oh, fancy.
Fancy.
And last but not least is me. I'm Sam. Confusingly, I am playing Sal, short for Salamander, who is an assassin of some renown, retired. Don't call her Sally. You will die.
That is a good tip for us all to know.
Yes.
So our last section was character generation. I don't know if there's really a lot of synopsis to go through. We would encourage you, if you'd like to see how we got to where we're starting from, to go back and on the YouTubes or the Twitches or the wherever you view or listen to our Happy Jacks content, to check out the character gen session. There was many interesting twists and turns. And as I find with Traveler, a lot of happy accidents that actually all seem to work and make sense somehow. It's a little strange how that always happens. So I wanted to just jump right into this session by spending a little time with each of you in turn, talking about how each of you got from where you left what you were comfortably doing to arriving at Yuma Station. And I'm just going to start. And Dave, if you're secure enough on the stream, can we start with you?
Sure.
Are you all set up? Great.
I think
So,
I'm okay.
As we left off, you were involved in some sort of scandal. And I believe that you purposely buried a story to protect an old compatriot's betrayal that kept her out of some public accusation.
Yes.
So who was that? Who was that old friend who's also at the table, in case you don't remember?
I do remember.
me.
No. It was Sal. The reason for that was she had done me a solid in getting one of my big stories in the past, and in this case, I got the information that was gonna basically. I think it was gonna, like, somebody got your info and was gonna out you for several things, and instead of my usual level of transparency with my audience, that story just kind of got shuffled to the bottom of the pile. Um,
And as I recall, the legitimate journalistic community found out that you buried this story, and that brought into
Yes.
question a lot of your previous, more mainstream work,
absolutely, yeah.
and has kind of driven you from being able to actually work for legitimate Hollow News.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I figure I lost my like affiliates, right? You know, I probably had, you know, I wrote in op-eds and I wrote stuff for various news outlets. I was probably one of those guys that like CNN or you know, whatever calls when they need a panelist for some random story. Like I was one of those guys, like expert on whatever weird topic we need today. And now I don't get those calls anymore. But I've kind of shifted to doing my own self-publishing only, and kind of trying to make my way back into the mainstream as well.
and in fact, you have a very high social, as I recall.
I do, yes.
You
I got
are
to 12.
Yes, you are quite well known. I would imagine some of that might be for your previous work, appearing as this as experts, an expert opinion, or showing off that level of knowledge that you've gained, especially in areas of your early education, for which you do still maintain a level of renown. But I think a lot of that has come in the last couple of years, because you run your own cast that's
Yes.
become quite popular, I believe. Would you like to talk about that a little bit? I think that's a fascinating piece of information to be sharing.
So I run. Now I've completely forgotten again. The Lister log, I think I called it.
Yep.
That is a weekly vlog type of hollow thing that I publish on my own website, for lack of a better term. That I commonly refer to all of the followers as Listerines, as it's the Lister log, where I try and dig up a story every week and give it sort of that YouTube personality, sort of a spin on here's this random news article and here's what we're going to talk. Sometimes it's reactions, right? Like sometimes it's somebody else broke a story and now we're going to talk about it in terms of how that relates to Bigfoot.
Your space Philip DeFranco is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I like in my head I'm very angled towards like Space Art Bell, like Coast to Coast AM kind of like there's space ghosts. And like I'm pretty sure there's extraterrestrials out there. We just haven't found them yet. I mean, the universe is far too large to just be empty, right? Like there's got to be something out there. Some weeks we talk about the whole concept of the singularity, and the reason why we haven't found other extraterrestrials is like there's a vast AI out there that's like, no, we have to stop these biologicals from taking up resources before the heat death of the universe. So we cover all of those topics.
And if you were going to try to put in someone's mind what Benjamin looks like, if you were somebody playing Benjamin on the TV show, who would that be? I like to do that. I stole that from Jason, I'll admit, because he does it all the time, and I think it's actually really cool. It's kind of help frame a little bit of what the character may look like.
So I went with the best choice I could come up with in my head anyway, as the History Channel Ancient Aliens guy with the tall hair, right? Kind of colorful shirts, because that's a me thing anyway. This is probably one of my more subdued shirts that I have. Actually, for tonight, I should have picked a different one. But wears, you often see like various crystals on necklaces of various planet origins, and that kind of just a little bit out there personality wise, but like a guy that you don't forget because that works.
And why did you come to Yuma Station? What brought you this far out to the edge of known space?
There's a much greater chance of actually encountering something interesting out here. And I'm still a little freaked out about the fact that, like, somebody came after me, right? Like, I got too
that's
close to
true.
a story. Somebody broke into my condo at some point, and so, I grabbed my go bag, and off I went to try and stay one step ahead of whoever might have bad intentions.
And do you have any idea who that might be? Who was the story about?
I don't know. I mean, I publish lots of stories. I don't know who could have taken offense on a given week. But since then I have procured myself a semi-legal stunner that I keep on myself to be ready, because I've adopted the Wild Bill Hickok advice of, like, never sit with your back to the door when I go into a bar or a restaurant, that kind of thing. I'm that guy that's always, like, shown to a table and I go, can I sit over there? Would that be okay? And they're always annoyed because I'm ruining somebody's stations. But that's the way it goes.
Excellent. So I'm going to go over to Sam now.
Hello.
And when you had a fairly comfortable and lucrative career
I
as well, the indelicate term would be assassin. I don't know if that's, the accepted way of speaking about it.
Obstacle remover. Whatever. As long as you're paying me, I don't care what you call it. But yeah, it was a pretty lucrative career. And then, unfortunately, one of my rivals became tired of living in my shadow, I guess, and betrayed me, tried to out me as an assassin, give away my identity to some local authorities. Luckily, Benjamin was there to quash that story, so it didn't get too far, but far enough that I had to retire. My cover was a little bit blown.
And so this person, had you worked with them before? Were they someone, if they were tired of living in your shadow, what was your kind of relationship with this individual?
Yeah, they were a little bit newer to assassinating, working for the same one of the same crime syndicates I worked for a lot, one of my best customers, and I guess they just wanted to make a name for themselves with me out of the way. So, I was kind of mad, but also a little impressed.
Right. So that was, I think, was one of the things. Like, are they an enemy? Are they a rival? Hard to say.
I'm gonna say with rival, maybe a dash of enemy. It's gonna really depend on the mood when I see them next time.
And if to play the who plays you in the TV series, if someone was thinking about what Sal might look like, who would you be choosing?
In the movie version of Yuma Station, Sal would be played by Rooney Mara.
Ah, very cool. And so how now? Obviously, your kind of working cover is blown a bit, and that's going to lead you to leave where you were. What made you choose Yuma Station as a destination?
It's pretty much the opposite end of the known universe, so that's about as far away as I could get, and might be some good work out here. I've heard there's some pretty possibly some lucrative items people might want, protection while they try and acquire, or my skills might become valuable. We'll see.
All right, super cool. I love it. Let's jump to, I had a whole list and everything. Let's jump over to Jay.
Hello.
So when you were, you had a fine naval career going, and then you were severely injured in an action.
That's right.
So, so what happened? What injury did you suffer? Was it on a station? Was it on a ship? What happened there?
I think it was on a ship. And we talked last week about this time when we were facing off against an enemy. So I think it was some pirates, a pirate ship, and it was a very, very pitched battle. And at a certain point, both ships were pretty injured, and mine was as well. And at that point, just due to the damage, I'd sort of found myself on holding the con, despite my sort of injuries. And the other ship indicated they wished to surrender, and I said, "Let's not do that," and fired on them again, leading to some enmity between us. And I think in that exchange, I suffered a loss of my leg, one of my legs.
So the Navy, of course, would take care of that. There's enough technology available to give you a prosthetic that doesn't really operate much less differently than your actual leg. It took you some time in rehab to figure out how to use the neural interfacing. It's nothing superhuman. It's not like an upgradable combat implant, but serves very well. Do you have any lingering effects from that?
I mean, I've got a lot of PTSD from that battle. I was a little shaky, a little twitchy, maybe, and certainly, but other than that, I think physically, I think there's a little, maybe a little psychosomatic action of walking with a cane, even though it's or walking stick at this point, even though it's unnecessary.
And did you? And so not only did you come out of that with some injuries that you're still kind of working through to some degree, you made some enemies, I think, as well.
Yes, a couple of the pirates, 3 of them made it out from their damaged ship, and I've spread it around that there's a bit of maybe a bounty on my head, or at the very least, they're willing to beat me up. Let's say, meet me in the parking lot next time they see me.
Yes, they're and they all have their different reasons, which you may or may not be aware of. Have you had a run-in with them since that occurred?
Not so far. No, not recently.
Okay.
This is in the relatively recent past, so I've just sort of recently mustered out and gone to my life of retirement.
And so tell me a little about your family. You're very well known.
Yes. Well, my family is very well known. I'm a little bit of the black sheep of my family. I come from the Manning family is a long and storied sort of tradition of naval and military families. There's a couple of Secretary of Defenses in the family tree there going back, a few naval secretaries. I could not get into the Naval Academy. There's a little bit of a tragedy that's sort of associated with that bought me some cred, in that I was on a trip with my parents, and due to a catastrophic failure, just an accident, nothing nefarious, at least as far as I know, the ship was destroyed and they were killed, and I wound up on a pleasure cruise, not a pleasure cruise, but on a pleasure ship, stowing away there, and that's where I first learned sort of engineering and flying. And so, after I was brought back, I was raised by my grandparents, who were much older and are still alive on sort of a family reserve on one of the greener planets, a planet mostly of old people. So that's where I grew up until I left and did join the Navy. I didn't get into the academy, but I enlisted because there was really no other option for the family. That's the business. And then, I worked my way up the ranks. I earned my commission and all of that. But I'm certainly not going back there.
So you're not going back there. You have a rich and storied family history. What would bring you out to the edge of space to Yuma Station?
I'm here to buy a ship. I came all of this way. I've got a couple of shares in a ship, or a couple of shares to sort of trade for a ship, and I'm just looking for a ship to. I want to get back into space, so trying to find a ship to buy essentially, or a ship to trade in my shares and join up.
And I kind of imagine that you may have heard that there's a ship out this way that
Yeah, yeah,
could actually be something you might be able to get into, because ships are incredibly expensive, especially
yeah,
new ones. So finding a bargain, like you're willing to, to take a long trip,
yeah, exactly.
to find a big bargain, and you've heard rumors of a pretty deep discount.
Exactly, and an older ship, which is fine by me, but just someone, because I like engineering and keeping ships afloat, so I'm willing to do that work, but I just wanted to be far from sort of the political world. I've got my connections and I can make some calls, but it's just I don't want to get into that.
And for people at home to kind of, and us to wrap their heads around what Manning might look like, who is the actor that would portray Miles?
Winston Duke.
Very nice.
Us and Black Panther fame.
And it's great. The thing that's great is I do everything in OneNote to run everything, and so I grab pictures of everybody, and it's always fun to find like what I think is an image of them. And obviously there's a lot of like amazing Black Panther images, but I found this particular GQ photo shoot, and I was like, I think he's more the GQ version.
A little bit.
A little bit. He can still throw down, but he is used to nicer things, probably.
That's true. Yeah, no, definitely used to the finer things, but also like, he carries a little bit of the black sheepness of it, and a little bit like, I don't want to, trading on my family's name and being more involved in my family comes with a lot of obligations and a lot of expectations that I would rather not be entangled in. That's another reason why coming all this way to find a kind of a fixer-upper ship was appealing.
Excellent. And Clara, so Blue, I believe, started with a naval career.
Yeah. She started with from a mining planet. She sort of was like, I'm getting off the planet. I really don't care how, and managed to test into the Naval Academy with the idea that she wanted to fly, but wasn't sure what Naval Academy meant, because Clara doesn't know how that works. So like a lot of kids use the military to get out, and just happened to be have the scores to get through the academy, and had a decent career as an officer for, I want to say 8 years. And then I'm calling it psionic puberty. That's what we're going with. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What do you think? What happened? What happened that triggered your psionic awakening?
Ooh. I kind of want to say that it's always been happening. Like, she's always been a little bit like clairvoyant and a little bit like the two that I ended up rolling for stronger than, I ended up rolling all four of the 5 abilities manifesting, but the 2 that are stronger are clairvoyance and awareness. So that seems like something that just, if you were training and you wanted to be a pilot, that stuff would just start coming forward. But I think there was what's the word I'm looking for? There may have been a small battle or something, even though I think it's supposed to be a fairly chill unit they were with.
Yeah, you were with like a patrol unit.
Yeah,
it was
just
pretty chill, unit. But there's always things that happen. It might have even been you have to go check out an anomaly, right?
Yeah.
But it seems like at some point you got into a bit of danger while you were piloting a smaller craft.
Yeah, and it was just sort of when push comes to shove, parts the adrenaline unlocks things that you never realized you could do. So she was able to, and since then she like, and so that was unlocked. And then in being checked up on later, they were like, some of the stuff you did shouldn't be possible. Like,
Yes, I
like-
think that the GNI, which is the Galactic Naval Intelligence unit, heard some reports, read your log. You know, the psionics are rare, but not unheard of. And the military forces, and in particular intelligence organizations in the different arms of the military, take a high degree of interest when someone may exhibit these powers. And so I think you would have been approached by a commander in the GNI and offered you the opportunity to undergo training to basically change your specification and no longer be a pilot specifically, but why don't you come on over to intelligence and we can help you hone those skills?
Yeah, and that was sort of her like, well, I guess. Like, I feel like she doesn't, again, like, also, oh, and this I think showed up during the first her first 2 years in the Navy. I think leaving the mining colony, which is very much about like being close knit with your family and stuff, being so committed to leaving, there was a death in the family and she was kind of left out of the will. But I think it's more that she just doesn't have a good relationship with her family anyway. So having anyone in authority be like, hey, we like you. She's like, yes, I'm going to do this thing now.
Well, that's really interesting. I think probably that this Commander Forgrave, I'm just going to give him a name, was a bit of a father figure.
Yeah.
To you,
I love this.
and showed you interest and really worked with you. You know, and you, as I recall, you were like very book smart as well.
Yeah.
Growing up on this mining colony, a lot of, you know, hard Scrabble workers. You were more interested in reading. You know, you got into the Naval Academy. You've always been a bit of an outsider in that way. And here, you know, Commander Forgrave was very much interested in that and pushed you. And I think really became an influential part of your career in the GNI, and then kind of started asking you to do things that started making you think a little differently.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of a shitty time when you develop a moral center about halfway through your career in a psionic intelligence agency. What had happened? I'm trying to go through my notes now.
Yeah, well, first you were asked to locate someone who was getting a little too close to finding out things that the GNI was not interested in them learning, or especially spreading about their operations. And so there was a journalist who was starting to put things out that were just not really copacetic with the GNI, not anything they wanted to have out there. And so you were requested to help find this individual, which you did. And then I think you were a little surprised to learn that the GNI tried to do something about that individual.
But actually, I think I think she saves his ass.
So he saves, he gets away somehow, right?
I think he got warned.
Yeah, and I think, what happens is that, and I'll do a little scene here, that you're in the character, Jen, you're in that final 4 years. You're in like one of your, you've been training for 8 years now. You're really understanding your abilities and starting to push some of your limitations. And Commander Forgrave comes to you and says, your performance has been quite good, above adequate, and you've always fulfilled your mission parameters.
Above adequate. I'm sorry. It's just funny.
But
passable. Great.
Yeah. And when we had you looking for the journalist, you found the target, and you very clearly pinpointed where he was for us, but he managed to go into hiding and unfortunately now he's just too exposed for us to act. He's become a very fringe popular figure. Fortunately for us, that works in our favor. We believe if he actually revealed anything, no one with legitimacy would actually believe him. But however, Blue, I've just really thought that if you could have, somehow done more than just find him, it would have been a tidier outcome. And I think you've just shown such great potential that we'd like to move you to Sector 7. And you know that Sector 7 is where, at least you've heard the rumors, is where all the wet work happens.
Oh, cool. I love this for us.
And he seems very excited about it. But I think that that was rubbing up against your new creamy center of ethicalness in a way that wasn't quite so pleasing as maybe he hoped it would be. And
that'll do it.
And then you were contacted by an old friend who actually saw your transfer papers.
Mm-hmm.
That was going to be moving you over. And what did they do?
I actually did this. I did fill this out. I didn't fan cast it, but I did fill it out. Harper Sakar is an analyst, crypto analyst. So just someone who they push paperwork, they look at information, but they don't do any of the work themselves, or they don't do anything terribly interesting beyond like looking at information. Came across the paperwork, and basically they knew, and Blue knew that Sector 7 is not something that Blue wanted to start working towards, and frankly, no one should have that kind of power. So they were able to coordinate, I want to say, a mistransfer, for lack of a better phrase. Basic one of those like, oh well, you're supposed to leave here and take this ship to go to this area, and she was just able to walk onto the wrong ship. And the paperwork, it was basically paperwork foo, admin foo, to get her off planet. And she's been AWOL since, sort of just walking away casually.
So
no fun explosions, no cool espionage escapes, just sort of a like, we may have misplaced an asset.
And so what is it that brings Blue to Yuma Station?
Well, actually, after leaving, she sort of, I think Harper connected her with a friend of a friend who connected her with a friend of a friend, and managed to get her in contact with someone she was able to get in contact with an exotic animal trader and dealer, which was sort of a side business to an attempt to make hallucinogenic toads. Like large amounts of LSD laden toads.
Amazing.
And scions, one of the things they can do is telepathy, which is basically handle animal. So Blue is good with animals, and she's good with ships, and she ran those guys back, and she ran them back and forth for a little while, and was in contact with, they worked in contact with a smuggler who was finally like, Yuma Station's about as far as you can get, and it may be worth, if you want to, set up some independence on your own, you may want to head that way. The smuggler, I actually wrote in this cut, I don't know if it's in your notes if I added them, but they were the kind of smuggler who only had access to large amounts of useless shit until this exotic animal animal dealer shows up. So it was like, crates and crates of slammers for pogs and stuff.
Right, like
this real bullshit.
Right, a huge, vast amount of stuff that really probably nobody wants.
Yeah, and then he acquired hallucinogenic toads. So
excellent.
I don't know what happened here. I think I had a fever at the point that I was writing some of this. But
do you think that So I'm gonna guess that as you arrive at Yuma Station, they're kind of dropping you off there, right? And
Yeah.
you're probably you may be helping conclude a deal that for a towed shipment. But this is where you're going to get left. This is where you're going to get dropped off. You've got you have a reasonable amount of money with you, certainly. You've made these great contacts, and in fact, you've managed to also keep a fairly large tradable investment against some ships.
Yeah,
or
I'm
ship shares.
astounded I left the Navy, even though I sort of went AWOL with as much stuff as I left with.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of that came when you actually left the Navy before
That's
you went
true.
into the GNI, the Psych Corps.
That's true.
So that was sitting there for you, and they're you've gotten good enough that when you've needed money, you can reroute it through different areas to kind of keep people off your track. But Yuma Station provides, I think, for everyone, and a place full of opportunity, far off the beaten path, which seems to be for most people an important thing. So when you arrive, there is a bit of a holdup at Customs and Goods in the docking bay at Yuma Station that you're in. It appears that there's a big backup of people waiting to get onto the station. Everyone's kind of milling around, and you see someone that you recognize. Someone you haven't seen in quite a few years, but you're pretty sure that might be, well, at the time, he was just enlisted, a crewman who worked on your ship, on your small craft when you served together. You went through boot camp together and served together, but oh my gosh, you were, in your 20s, when you early 20s when you saw them. But you're pretty sure you might see Miles here in queue to get in the line.
You ever do that thing where you see someone from you're not sure where, so you stare at them and then you don't, and then you do again?
Oh, and I forgot. I'm sorry. Who's playing you in the TV show?
Blue is played by Grace Park. If Grace Park was thoroughly committed to dressing like a sock. I cannot have. I have a 5 social, so I would let Blue wants to be as invisible as possible. So yeah, just real comfy and maybe a little gross, but mostly comfy.
Excellent. There's nothing wrong with traveling comfy.
Thoroughly committed.
So yeah, I'm sorry. So you were saying you see Miles. You're pretty sure.
I don't know if I would ever want to talk to you right now.
And interestingly, he's almost at the front of the line. And you've just arrived, and it is a long queue.
I hate you. All right. Just gonna walk up real casual like nothing has ever happened ever. No one's looking for you. And give him a tap on the shoulder. Miles?
Blue?
Hey! Oh my gosh! It's been so long.
It has been.
You're weird seeing you.
Yeah,
all the way out here. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see you here.
Yeah, no. You're hanging out. You're trying to get into.
Yeah. I just got off the shuttle. I'm here looking at a ship or two.
Oh, fancy that! I'm looking for a ship as well. Weird question for you. Could you just sorry, there's just a little light problem, and she sort of takes him and sort of starts moving him so she can kind of switch places with him in line. Just move it. Sorry, just the light's a little uncomfortable. There we go. Anyway,
do you want to just go through with me?
Yeah, oh yeah, sure. Actually, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that's fine.
Do the groans from all the people in line.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
come
Holding my
on.
Thank you
Come
so much for
on.
holding my spot, my good friend, who I definitely asked to hold my spot while I was going to the bathroom.
No one's believing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, shut up.
It doesn't matter, Blue. It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Thank you. I honestly, I feel like I haven't seen you since, gosh, it must have been like 8 years ago. What? I don't know.
Maybe longer. I mean, since our time on the Pegasus, that was a good ship. Good times.
It really was. Do you? This is a weird question. Do you remember when we were leaving? Do you remember? Never mind. My brain's completely forgotten. You said you're looking for a ship?
Yes, yep. I came out here, mustered out a couple of months back, and just figured I don't know, see if I could buy up a share in a ship or two, and take it out.
I thought you'd never leave the Navy.
Well, we tangled with some pirates, and it didn't work out well for them, but it didn't work out well for me either. So here we are.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that.
It's okay. It's okay. It's more time to explore.
Yes, totally. Actually, I'm I'm in the market for a ship. That's exactly what I need right now.
All right. Are you got any destination in particular in mind, or?
Absolutely not.
Well, that's music to my ears. I mean, if you're looking for a ship and I'm looking for a ship, I mean, I only have 3 shares, but if we sort of,
I think I have 2. I think we can. I mean, they're incredibly expensive. I was fully expecting to get a piece of crap.
I mean, I wasn't expecting to get the nicest ship, but I don't mind. So, me, I don't mind crawling around inside the engine and doing some work. So
yeah,
and let's take a look. I've got a couple listings here. Let's take ourselves down to the dry dock and see if there's anything that strikes our fancy.
Awesome. Have we gotten through? Do we have to lie to?
So no, yeah, you're like all and the guys. I'm really sorry. Things are incredibly backed up today. We have an awful lot of people coming in, and if I this thing, just let me check your papers. That's fine. Yes. All right. Let me see here. All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. Do you have anything to declare? Anything that I should know about? Because if I go through your bag and find it, that's not going to be good for you. I'm just saying.
Nope. Blue wonders if her bag is gonna croak. It doesn't. They get out all the time.
And he's like, oh, well, I really should probably do some spot inspection. And hear people oh my God, would you please just let them through? I can't believe it. People are complaining, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna trust you because you look like nice, upstanding people to me. So please enjoy your stay on Yuma Station.
Thank you.
Yes.
So you two head to the dry docks. Mm-hmm. Sal, where do you hang out during the day? You've been at Yuma Station for a couple of weeks. What does your typical day look like?
She probably hangs out what's around the dry docks? Are there any?
I mean, yeah, the station has got it has an area that is I mean, if you think about it, it's almost laid out a bit like an Old West town. Mm-hmm. So but it's a space station. So you've got an area that's got mercantile, that there's shops, restaurants, bars. There's an area where ships that come in that are letting off passengers will come in. It's also got the dry docks are basically where people have brought in cargo and dropped it off. So there's at times where a lot of shipping occurs as well. So around the dry docks itself, there are people that are, putting together trips back more forward, or are arranging things to take down in the mining colony. But that's basically the dry docks itself is where ships come in, ships go out, where things get loaded, right, and dropped off. So it's somewhat busy in terms of people that are in the business of trade itself. right? If they're there moving lots of goods, that's probably where they're doing it from. People that are coming in as passengers come in through the entrance port. Around that area in the dry docks is a little more of the if you could make a segregation of a blue collar part of the station, that's where it would be. There really isn't a high end part of the station. There are the administration areas, and there's definitely a segregation along the levels of the station. Kind of the higher up the station and the closer you get to the main control disk area and the ring, you get to administration. That's where like the marshal's office is. That's where the station master is. And kind of the people that are there, like the megacorp representatives are there because each of the megacorps is represented. The top 7 megacorps are represented on the station. So that's where you would go for like those kinds of administrative offices. The further you go down is where you start getting into the further down the station, down towards kind of the bottom of it, which is where the big communications hub is. And you think about it, it's round at the top and then comes down and goes down almost like a ice cream cone, right? When it comes down, and the bottom is the big communications array, which not only is obviously how they communicate with the mining planet and the colony down there, but that's how they can do any of their within system communications. A little note about Traveler is there's not instantaneous communication between sectors. You actually have to use these thing called X boats. So it's almost a bit like a Pony Express. And so news doesn't always travel fast. And you all would have either directly or indirectly had experience with the fact that at times that's a way to kind of stay ahead of what you've done or what other people have done. Is you can potentially move faster than the news at times. So there's not that that instantaneous communication, right? Where it's like we're calling Terra. It's like if you wanted to try to get a message back to Earth, it could take you months and months to do that. And there's the other thing that is outside the station is that there is early construction on a jump ring. So there's 2 ways that ships travel. There is with their own jump drives. Right now, the furthest a ship can go by itself is jump 2, which means 2 sectors on basically a load of fuel. You always want to be going somewhere where you know there's fuel, if you can. That can either be refined fuel. The station also sells refined fuel. They have a refinery on the station. Or you can find a gas giant if your ship has scoops on it. And then there's all the ships that have scoops have internal processors. It just takes a while to turn the hydrogen gas into usable fuel. So the way people though get around farther distances than that is through jump gates. They're massive rings that are somewhat expensive to use. And they are all regulated by the galactic confederation. So there is a central government that goes across all of the Terran colonies and worlds. It doesn't really do a lot. It never feels oppressive, but there are a few things that it cares a lot about. One of those are the jump gates, because any massive amounts of travel or trade, all the megacorps use jump gates, and all of those are regulated. And of course, the majority of the fees from using those go to the central government. So that's their big thing. It is almost impossible to sneak through a jump gate. You can't just use them. So you find that they tend to be mostly used for legitimate travel, long haul trade, megacorps moving large amounts of materials for building sites, right? Like all of the components for Yuma Station would have been long hauled out on a series of far traders to get there. But now they're trying to build a jump gate so they can actually tie in this kind of edge of the known galaxy, the known space to more of the core. So that is all part of the background, where there's then also there have been an influx of construction workers that live on Yuma Station now, and it's actually kind of full. Kind of the population of Yuma goes up and down, but it's pretty stacked right now because there's a lot of people that have been brought out to work on the ring, and they haven't actually built extant living quarters yet. So all of them are having to find a location on the station to live. And then there's also then just a lot of people that have come through on kind of the persistent rumors that have started that there's got to be some good stuff out here, right? It's kind of like the expansion, not only for trying to find new large-scale business opportunities like the mining planet, right, which is run by one of the megacorps, but things that anybody with a ship and some grit could go find. So there's a good influx of, for lack of a better word, adventure seekers, right? Travelers that are out here trying to find something that no one else has found. Because who knows what's out? You're kind of on the edge of known space. So around the dry dock area, you've got a reasonable amount of traffic. Most of it is centered around the trade that's happening.
Okay.
But there's also, because it's a hub where there's a lot of work, you've got, things that you would see around. So like places to eat, places to get a drink, those kinds of facilities, as well as just the in and out of shipping, and probably a couple of larger shipping companies have offices there.
Cool. So I think Sal probably splits her time between like the bar area and the docks, because since she's been here a little while, she's kind of established herself as a chaperone for some of these adventurous types who are trying to make a go of it out on the fringes. It's dangerous out here, and you got some nice looking goods there. It'd be a shame if something happened to them. So you might want to hire some muscle to protect it for you.
And there are a couple of other smaller, like there's always trips down to the colony, right?
Mhm.
That are happening. There's people that are kind of going out and saying like, yeah, we're gonna do a jump, and we're just gonna go see, we're gonna kind of do a blind jump, but they've got jump 2 engines. So they're gonna go jump 1 because they don't know what they're gonna find there, and then they can always just jump back if there's no fuel,
Mhm.
right? That's the safe people that do that. So there's been a lot of kind of jump 1 exploration that people are doing.
Cool.
Hopefully trying to find a stake of claim. Sometimes they don't know what they're going to find out there. Maybe there's not a lot of people really think there's not really aliens, because look how long we've been out here, right? Regardless of what that guy says, that Lister guy, who because people have caught his show, and it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of amusing, it's interesting, but you don't know who else is going to be out there, right? Maybe they're looking to stake a claim. So having someone who's good in a fight is always welcome. So I would imagine you're probably between jobs, maybe you're looking for work.
Yeah, she's probably between jobs, maybe like just got back from one and is just like hanging out, chilling around the docks looking for her next job.
And interestingly enough, I won't quite get us into roles yet. Rolling the dice quite yet. But you, while you're keeping an eye out, you see someone that you recognize. And you're like, wait, is that Miles? What would he be doing all the way out here? The last time you saw him, you had just met in a bar, and what maybe started out with one of your usual adventures that happens at a bar kind of turned into like you guys just like kind of talking, and
It's actually pretty cool.
And he was actually pretty cool, and you kind of actually thought that you shared
a common enemy.
A common enemy, exactly.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of bonded over that, and it's been a while. It's been a little while since you've seen him, like about 4 years.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember that guy. I taught him to drink.
That's
he was
right.
pretty fun.
That's right.
So she's like hanging out in the shadows so nobody notices her, like you do. So I'm definitely gonna wait until he like passes me a little bit and then just like suddenly appear next to him.
And he's walking with somebody else. It looks like he's I'm assuming you two are probably chatting and catching up.
Yep.
He's with some kind of schlumpily dressed.
Looks like a human sock. I love it. This is great.
Yes.
So I'm gonna just like fall into step on the opposite side from Sock Lady, on his other side, and just wait for him to notice me.
Wait, hi. Sal?
What's up, Miles? What are you doing here?
This is weird. I just ran into my friend Blue, and here you are. I'm here looking to buy into a ship. Blue and I were thinking about going in on a ship out here, heading over to the dry dock. I got a couple of ads, a couple of listings for some promising vehicles. What are you doing out here? Are you working?
I'm working, but I'm not working, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah. No, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been here a little while. It's pretty fun. Been back and forth on some exploration missions, and these adventurers are pretty soft. You know, you gotta protect them.
Yep.
But I got a spare ship share laying about.
Well, now this is getting to be respectable.
It'd be interesting. Hey, Blue, it's nice to meet you. I'm Sal.
Blue, and you can see she actually completely like starts going in on herself again, in the presence of another human. Like, nope.
Yeah. Cool. Blue, Blue's great.
Also, humans not my thing. So. Just,
cool.
Makes finger guns at the sock.
They both do like the introverted, like not touching you, refuse to touch you, but hey.
Yep. So
yeah, you guys could probably use a hand or a blade.
Yeah,
no knives.
You don't need to show the knives right now, but yeah, always happy
Does Sal's reputation precede her? Like, would we have heard, like, as a smuggler or whatever, you would have heard, like, nope, nothing.
I'm guessing no. You tell me if that's different, though. So your social is super low, right? Which means not only unknown, you're like mega.
Okay, cool.
Intentionally unknown, like Jason Bourne levels of like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Random person, I don't know who it is.
And how is
you don't notice her unless she wants you to.
Yeah, how's Sal dressed? Like, what is Sal's costuming?
It is extremely like aggressively nondescript.
Yeah.
But like all like black and gray, but like not stark enough that she would stand out in a crowd. And like hood, layers, so like if there's any sort of surveillance, you're not really going to get a good look at her. Like kind of side swept over the face hair a little bit, like really long sleeves so you can't see any distinguishing features whatsoever, and just kind of like basically a shadow person.
2 socks, got it.
Yeah.
It's Miles and 2 socks.
It's like a sock and a dress sock.
Comfy sock, scary sock.
Yes. We're a pair.
Yeah.
Now I'm sad.
Oh my.
God.
So you're at the dry docks. There is a couple of ads you picked up off the web and or the net. What do we call it? The net. And they're as you check them out, they're pretty good, but they're pretty expensive. You're definitely all gonna have to think about it if you're actually in agreement of coming in together. Ships are priced in mega credits, and
right.
one mega credit is the same as one ship share, which is 1 million credits. So when you're finding ships, it's like, oh, this is a great deal. This ship's only 53 mega credits.
Oh,
Right. It's like, ooh, and you can look at it and you recognize, oh, that's actually a pretty good deal on a used Corvette, because normally new that might be like 85, like it's a pretty deep discount, but and you can always find a bank to finance.
I'd rather not owe money to people if we can avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah. Do they have we got 7 credits here? Where's the 10 credits and under section? Ship share.
Right. So do you ask somebody that?
Yeah, where's the discount lane? Is there a
We're looking
discount
for
lane?
the shittiest thing you've got. We want a fixer-upper.
So wait, 7? I might have a ship's boat. Maybe. Wow, 7. Did you want to actually go like into space in this thing? Did you want to like go outside the sector, or is this like for planetary? Are you going to just do runs back and forth to the planet? Because I probably could get you something. But no, that's yeah.
Used ship salesman seems like the worst kind of used car salesman too.
And so you kind of get. He was really excited to talk to you at first, and then once you got here, it was the whole like, let me go see if I can get one of my associates to work with you, who might have a more of an understanding and specialization of the level of investment you're looking to make, and kind of walks off. And you wait for a few minutes, and you're starting to maybe get the idea that nobody's going to come back over and talk to you. But a guy does sidle up to you, and he says, "So, I heard you're looking for a ship."
Yeah, we're looking for a ship.
But you don't have a lot to spend.
Nope, we don't have a lot to spend.
We're not looking to spend as much as some of these are worth.
Well, I might be able to help you out. Now, I'm not going to try to put one over on you. This is not your top of the line ship. This is not something fresh off of the production bay. This ship's, it's got some stellar miles on it.
Okay.
And there might be. Is there a place we can go talk about this if you're interested? I mean, it's a great deal, but I'm a little. It's such a good deal. I kind of don't want to talk about it, especially over here by, the ship salesman's lot.
The disrespectful assholes. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to buy? You want to buy us a drink?
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love to buy you a drink. What a great idea.
Why don't you stand us to a drink?
All right. And you'll go to the bar. What's the bar you frequent, Sal?
Let's see. The Underbelly. That's their
Excellent.
favorite.
Yep. So you'll. I'm sure you guide him towards the Underbelly. And
don't worry. I know the owner. He's nice now. I beat him up once or twice.
Oh, well,
Okay.
that's a great way to meet somebody, I suppose.
Don't worry, he likes it. Yeah, it's fine.
As you come into the bar, playing up on the television, basically, is the latest broadcast by Benjamin Lister, who has just recently announced that he's broadcasting from a new top secret location, and he's going to be blowing the doors off of all kinds of stories. What's your show about, Benjamin? What's this episode happening as they walk in?
Aggressive microbes on asteroids at the edge of civilized space.
Oh.
Known. Let's see. What's a good? like space miner's lung. Like it's an ailment that like it's not a common practice to like disinfect the outside of your suit when you come in from out like doing asteroid mining, right? So it has spread among people. It's some people think it's tardigrades, right? Like angry tardigrades that live on the surface of these asteroids, but no, I think it's some kind of early microbial life that has adapted to live in certain asteroid environments that has caused this problem. And then like it causes people to, once it gets into the system, it causes people to get just massive sweats, like real gross.
Ooh.
Like they just real shiny, real damp all the time, like moist people.
I'm fully imagining this is what the way you're describing it now is what the broadcast looks like, and it's like distressing.
Yes. Like just the moistness, guys. It's so gross. Don't just disinfect the suit when you come in. Just take a second, step into that little chemical shower, then take off the suit. You don't want it. You don't want it because you're gonna have to wear 3 t-shirts all the time. Like it's just terrible.
99.9% of the time is full of shit, but that 1%, man.
So Blue, does that line up with anything that you've seen or experienced growing up on a mining world?
I've met a lot of sweaty people.
See, that's why it's so hard to disprove.
She just like
People that actually work hard for a living, they tend to actually be sweaty.
Blue just like this man is incredibly entertaining, and it's very fun to watch. 99.9% of the time, he's full of shit, but that 1% gets you arrested.
And there actually is kind of a little buzz around the bar of now this has sparked some conversation of people that have been like, oh yeah, I was down on the planet and there's a hell of a lot of sweaty people down there. Like this guy might be, this could be a thing.
You could be onto something.
Mm-hmm. Don't look it up on the I wanted to say Google, but do we have to? Don't look it up on the net. I feel like
Space Google.
Space Google, yeah.
Spoogle.
The psychosomatic ailments are a real problem.
Definitely.
So where do you think that you do your broadcast from, Benjamin?
I think I rent a little recording suite down by the transmitter array.
Okay.
Under, like some oops, sorry. I popped up the chat for a second and it throws off the whole broadcast, so everybody got their face cut off for a second.
Oh no.
But we're back now. Everything's fine. Nothing happened. Yeah, it's it's almost like the place that you'd rent if you wanted to do a conference call back home kind of thing, like, because obviously you're not making direct contact with other, like, back to Earth or anything, right?
Right.
But like it's sort of a little soundproofed recording suite that has a nice camera set up and that kind of thing, so you could record a video message to send to somebody serious, like, you have to report in for your corporate overlord, or you really want to wish grandma a nice hollow happy birthday, or that kind of thing.
Right. And then it gets recorded there, and then it gets put on a ship and sent.
Yeah. Then
Right.
it transmits out and goes out from there, like on a delay, right? Like I
Right.
don't want anybody connecting the time that I'm in the suite to when it goes out.
Right. Well, I'd imagine that the way things work is that you record it, it's on delay, it plays. Anyone who is in the sector would get it, right, at that time. Then you probably have a distribution deal with some like traders that come through that will pick up your shows. You're like, great, and you're handing them
Yeah.
like, on chip materials and saying like, oh, yep, take this, and they take it, and then they get like rebroadcast rights or something interesting. You've worked out some deals to be able to continue to distribute your information. It's all time delayed, which actually helps you, right? I mean, there are some places that are probably, a couple of months behind or more on your show, but that's okay.
Oh yeah,
right?
But I mean, there's nothing to be done about that. Right.
Right. It's just the way that it goes out. And it's probably would be very exciting if a jump gate gets built here, like when it finishes, which will be a while. But because then, if you can find a way to get your stuff on ships that are jumping, then it gets around.
Speeds up the whole network.
Right, gets around faster. Which is probably something you had set up before you had to go bag. And
there's probably
and
like
get
an
folk.
official like HoloNet broadcasting agency or something that does that kind of distribution network on their own, but I've had to kind of set up my own since I got here.
Right. But you've started to get a bit of a following. The good part about the delay is that no one's ever really sure if they're getting it live or not.
Yeah.
Who knows? So probably I think it'd be a little interesting if you're at the underbelly while the show's
watching the show,
broadcasting, watching the show, seeing if people are reacting. You're getting some,
live feedback,
clandestine feedback. And I would imagine that while you're there, because J is the nexus of all things, you see Miles, who you saw just like less than a year ago, like real recently. You guys kind of crossed paths, and it was on another station, and Miles was there with the Navy, and you guys kind of we talked about how you both, because you have a high school, you kind of knew each other's reputations. Like you met. I think, Miles, you were trying out some of your acquired social carousing skills. Attempting, and you're like, oh, hey, this guy looks interesting. And you talked, and you're like, what? You're that guy? And he was like, I've heard of your family.
Yep.
Led to good conversations. And you see into the underbelly walks Miles. And holy crap, Sal, who you haven't seen for probably like 12 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a decade.
Yeah, like a decade. Though and Sal, do you know what Benjamin did? Or Benjamin, would you like when
I might have sent like the time to get out, like time to go kind of a message.
Okay.
Like, not specifically like, here's this information, here's what I'm doing, but more like, hey, seems like a lot of people might be onto you real soon, kind of.
So you gave me a heads up. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think you got it, but it was when you were already you were already leaving.
Yeah, it was like packing to leave.
Right, because things take a while to get there, right? And and as soon as Benjamin sorted this out, he was like, "Oh man, I got to send something." But he was like the next system over or something. It took like a week to get there, or 2 weeks to get there, and you're like, "Oh wow, he thought of me. Good thing this wasn't the only way I found out."
Yeah,
but he did. So yeah, there's you haven't. I mean, the station's a big enough place where it's not gigantic, but you've been spending most of your time in the hall suite, and I think you've been going around to different bars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Check out the different strata of the social structures of this place. But like in this place, I'm probably doing the Viggo Mortensen style, like Lord of the Rings. Like I'm just kind of over in a corner. Like I picked the darkest corner, and I'm just sitting there watching, like drinking and not
You're
making
sitting
a
at my
big deal.
table then.
Maybe that's how this happened. Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, when you come in, Sal, there's a table you like to sit at, and there's somebody sitting at your table.
Guy at my table. I have to stab.
And it's probably like a table for 6. But
oh yeah.
But like it's just me.
Perfect.
Right, because normally it's just you. Sal. Right,
You
normally
look
it's just
down
you,
and
Sal.
it probably got my name like carved into the table.
On the back edge, so the serving staff doesn't notice.
And then like some tally marks. You're like, what are these?
Yeah. Say people
Dates
know
that went wrong.
Or
People-
dates that went right.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone knows better than to sit at Sal's table because you may not make it back.
It'll be the last table you sit at.
Right. And in fact, you're keeping a low profile. But
I think
I think they're walking towards you.
I think I probably only like poof up the hair real big for the show. Right? So the rest of the time
Right.
it's just sort of a normal hairstyle. And like it really helps. Right?
Mhm.
Like,
It's like Superman, Clark Kent.
yeah.
Superman, Clark Kent.
Completely different person.
Completely different person, like whether he has the hair up or not.
Like that guy's hair's normal. He can't be that dude. So yeah, if they're walking over this way, I'm probably gonna like
And Sal, someone is at your table.
Yeah.
I'll probably like hit the button to like call for a server to come over and get more
Okay.
beverages or something, because like I'm happy to see the both of them.
Can I see it? Who it is from where I am?
And I think that the three of you, the gentleman that you've met is like starting to say, oh no, we'll get in. It's great. Like I'm telling you, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. This is going to be a fantastic thing. And you're half listening to him and looking like, oh, you're going to guide them to the table. And there's someone there who isn't instantly familiar because his hair is down, so you don't know. But he's we're going to give him the suit. We're going to give him the Clark Kent thing.
Yeah.
And it's dark in here, right? And I'd imagine that your table is specifically in a place that is difficult for people to see.
Mm-hmm.
It
Easy
is
for me
the
to see
darkest
from.
corner.
Yes, you're in the
Yeah.
darkest corner.
The
So-
light is the light bulb was purposely unscrewed.
That's
so
right.
that it never turns on.
Right. Like you have a great view, and the reason probably you sat there, Benjamin, is like, this is kind of dark, and this is like the best view of the whole bar.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what
You
my
feel
angle
really
is, yeah,
safe there. There's nobody walking up behind you in that space. So
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking up the pace a little bit. Not noticeably, but like a
Mhm.
little bit ahead of the group. If anybody looked really closely, they might be able to see the light slightly glinting off of a blade.
All right, I think you get up to the table, and then, so Benjamin,
Yeah.
Sal's walked up.
I
She's
think,
kind of
like-
ahead of the other two. She doesn't look particularly pleased.
Well, I think when like they get sort of into range, or Sal gets sort of into range, like I stand up and I'm like, I can't believe it. Like, what are the chances that you would be out here? You and Miles, and I don't know her, but like,
You just hear the distinct shink of a blade going
Like-
back into a sheath.
what?
Oh, Benjamin.
What? Like, it's been forever.
I didn't recognize you with the hair.
Yeah, I like to come and scout out the crowd when the show runs and see
Oh.
what people think. And
Yeah, you're lucky it's you. You're in my seat.
well, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I've been kind of hitting various bars around the station since I got here, but this was my first night here, so
Oh, weird. This is my favorite one. They got good strong drinks. Yeah, I ran into Miles down at the docks, and this is Blue in the sock.
So at that, you both kind of look up, and Miles, what?
Benjamin,
yeah, right. This is so weird, and
this is the weirdest day.
Sal.
Yeah, we've hung out.
Well,
Taught him to drink.
well, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
He's pretty good at it.
And I will say a little on the minute side. So Blue, you know who this is.
Oh yes. Oh
Okay.
yes, I do. I also
Okay.
probably know what his brain tastes like. It's
Mhm.
fine.
Oh,
You never forget.
No.
All right. Well,
So, I mean, what are you guys doing out here?
well, we were just this. I'm sorry, I didn't actually catch your name.
I'm Ben.
No, not you. The other guy. No, I know you, Ben.
Well, then,
He's-
what other
he's
guy?
chip salesman.
Oh yeah, and then another
I
guy.
forgot about that guy
yeah.
entirely. I'm like, what other guy? We're all here.
So, yes, another guy has come with him, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, I got so excited about maybe talking about this deal. My name's Ezra Wakeman.
Ezra Wakeman. So we met Ezra at the dry dock. The three of us were thinking about going in on a ship together, and Ezra has a ship that he'd like to tell us about.
Oh,
You're welcome to stay. I mean, it's a large enough table.
you guys, you're buying a ship, huh? Well, I mean,
That's yeah.
what's the plan? You guys going into business or?
Hadn't gotten that far. We were just
Sorry.
So just like
Yeah.
a mobile roommate situation then.
I mean,
Essentially, there's
okay.
no bedroom on the
Like-
station.
Like RV roommates? I dig it.
yeah.
Okay.
I came out here looking for a ship. Was just thinking about some journey, some adventuring, maybe considering a jump gate or something. I don't know. Didn't have a distinct plan, but just we came here looking for a ship. I met Blue on the way in, and then we ran into Sal, and we were thinking about all going in together.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't know if you guys have plans on where you want to take this ship once it's yours, but I kind of came out here to do some exploring,
Okay.
kind of check out some places, see what we can find about the edge of the known universe. I've heard some things about some pretty lowly kind of activities from some of the big companies, as always, and
Yeah.
And there's always hyper-aggressive tardigrades in mining colonies.
yeah,
I
Man,
was just hearing about that.
you so much dehydration, like it's terrible.
Sure.
You gotta constantly chug water. It's the worst. Put all the water recyclers on the station on stressed out, man. You can't deal with it. Can't deal
Oh
with
my
it.
god.
You've hit the button. The wait staff comes over. Ezra leans over, says something. They nod, walk off. He's like, "Oh, I just went ahead and ordered for everybody. It's on me. Rounds on me.
Well, that's
Show a
very
good faith.
kind of you.
I feel so good about this."
Okay. Well, sit down. Everyone, sit down. Benjamin,
so-
like I said, you're welcome to hear the pitch here. Maybe this will be something of use for all of us.
Yeah. I've got a little stashed away that I might
Yeah.
consider if you guys are looking for any ship investors. As long as nobody's opposed to, a couple of times a week I have to send out my show,
Yeah. No.
but not being pinned down to a station would make it much less likely that, anybody from that, that psychic core, right? They're everywhere.
I've heard about those people. It's
Like,
Yeah, they suck.
I mean, that's why I've been on the move for a while now.
all right.
I think they
Don't-
got close enough they got into my place before I had to
Yeah.
get out here.
Yeah,
Wow.
you should really clean up.
That's not cool.
Don't you think that putting out a show where you sort of put these things on blast makes you a bit of a target?
Well, that's why being on the move wouldn't be a bad idea, right?
Just giving people the reason to find you.
Well,
Well,
if they catch up with us, I can always,
but at the
Yeah.
same time,
Right.
I like
if,
you, Sal.
if we don't put out the truth, then there's what kinds of terrible things can these groups of people do?
I know. And listen, I like this idea. Well, let's find out
Yeah.
from Ezra here. So what are you? Now we're here. We're sitting
Ezra's
down.
handed out the drinks. You've all got a brewed on the station beer, which is the
Great.
special of the underbelly. They actually do their own. They have their own brewing here in small
Smells
batches.
like Benjamin's brain. Anyway.
It's like, so look, it sounds like you've all got big plans, big ideas, and there's so much opportunity, which is why there's been a huge influx of folks coming out to Yuma Station. And look, like I said, I'm not going to try to put one over on you, right? This ship, well, this ship's hot, okay? That's why it's such a great deal. it could use some things like like a new transponder would be good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could get one from a clean ship, or I don't know your skill sets. Some people like to hack their own.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got it parked a sector over. It's in a nebula that can mask basic scan sweeps. You can't find it unless you know where it is, which is me. I know where it is.
Want us to move to a second location with you? Well, I guess a third. We did.
Well, I mean, only if you're interested. Like, here's the thing. It's an old Type K Safari class, right? So this is a 200-ton ship. It's actually modified to KG excursion configuration, which means I don't know if it matters. It's not really set up to do safaris anymore. These were the ships that were used by like playboys and people who led a life of leisure, who like to go and try to hunt on different worlds, the indigenous species there. This is really more configured for hauling cargo or people. Then doesn't really have the tanks in it anymore. But and she's got more than a few jumps on her. But that's part of the reason I can get you such a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Sal, make a streetwise check.
Okay.
About to root around in his brain.
What do I roll for streetwise?
You're gonna roll 2d6, and you're gonna add your modifiers based on your streetwise skill level, and
so my level in streetwise is 0.
All right, so you roll even.
Okay, so I just rolled 2d6.
Right.
I got an 8.
Okay, so 8 or better is a success.
Sweet.
Like all this feels like, okay, he's really divulging a lot. There could be more that you don't know. That's just what your gut tells you.
Did he get a drink for himself?
No.
Oh, he didn't. Okay. I was gonna drink it. That's all. She's gonna like sit a little bit uncomfortably close to him and just be like, this. I really appreciate you being so forthcoming with us, because it kind of makes me mad when people aren't. Feel like there's something more, more detail you could tell us about this ship.
Well, like I said, it's got some jumps on it, and look, I mean, here's the thing is, normally a ship like this is going to cost you like brand new would be like, I don't know, 62, 64 mega credits, right? They're not cheap. Now, like I said, while this one's been modified, it's also pretty old. So you're talking about, you've got some ship shares and you've got, some other things that you could use as trade against that. I'm going to broker this, depending on how much we're talking about, I can really get the price down on this to maybe like, 20 or maybe even a little lower. I don't know how much you really got to bring to the table.
I know we said only use psionic abilities in case of emergency. Does haggling down the cost of a ship count as case of an emergency?
Whatever you think is an emergency, Blue, is an emergency.
Let's see. How many ship shares do we have amongst us? What, 10?
I have 1.
I've got 2.
I've also got 2.
So
and I've got
5.
3.
We have 8.
We have 8 amongst us. Okay, just curious. Let's see what he's offering before I start breaking into his brain. It's an emergency.
So wait, so you're the broker, so there's someone who's trying to sell this ship, is what you're saying.
Well, I'm selling the ship. By broker, I mean like I'm gonna handle the paper.
How did you
come
across such a ship then?
It came into my possession.
It fell off the back of the ship truck.
It fell off the back of the ship truck. Yeah, that's good. That's funny. That's funny. You're funnier than you dress. That's good. I like that. No, I didn't mean anything by that. I mean, you're like, But it's yeah, it's just the fact that like I said, like I'm up front, like the ship's hot, right? Like I need to move this thing,
Mhm.
and I'm willing to move it at a deep discount.
But we've got to go with you to the ship.
Well, yeah, if you want it, I can't go get it by myself. I
mean,
can't like fly a ship to it and then like ride both ships like horses or something back.
Makes sense.
well, and like it would be wise to at least check the thing out before we
Yeah, true.
invest.
Yeah. I think we should go see the ship.
I don't want to wait through customs again.
Oh, we don't have to go through customs. You're not taking we're not taking a commercial short there. Like I've got a small ship,
Okay.
right? You know, I've got a 100-tonner that'll, you know, it's a very old courier, but you know, like it's got a J1 drive. It can
Alright.
get us there and back. And
Alright.
you know, look, it's yeah, you asked about it. So here's what I really get out of it is that I've got a not insignificant number of credits that I need to launder. And so for me, it's really important that I channel the paperwork for a purchase through a bank so it's all legit. I mean, it'll come across that way as clean. Like you'll have regular payments against the mortgage on the ship. Like it all reads on paper perfectly clean with that. No one's ever going to have a question like, you know, first of every galactic cycle, you're making a payment. But we all walk away a winner. You get a ship at a deep discount. I get to move some credits that I need to in a way that is legal. And you can live that dream of free movement amongst the stars.
And it only requires a little bit of fixing up.
I mean, I've flown it. It flies.
Mm-hmm.
Can I, like?
And it's next to Nebula, so I even ran it through the gas giant, so it's fueled up because it's got scoops.
Oh,
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
I like that we
can
were
I-
like scoops. Okay.
can I just like do I don't know if deception's the right skill here, but like essentially like
You want to see if he's deceiving you? Sure.
yes, yeah.
Or how badly he's deceiving.
Yeah, exactly.
He is
Like
100%
He's
deceiving.
clearly withholding something.
I'm concerned he may be an agent of the government.
I am
Absolutely.
also concerned
So-
he may be an agent of the government.
So I would like to try that. So I mean, should I use deception or
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think if deception lets you read deception.
I'm having to go somewhere
my
else.
skill table.
investigate? I mean, or is that more do
Yeah,
research
deception
to-
allows you to lie fluently. That's more of like you're doing it.
right.
Investigate, yeah, keen observation, forensic detail analysis. Sure, I would let you roll investigate to see if you
Okay.
know, whether it's passing your sniff test.
Hey, all right. I got an 11.
Okay. Everything he's saying is not like there's nothing in the story that you're like, oh, that just doesn't happen, right? He's being pretty forthcoming with you in terms of that he is doing some illegal stuff.
Sure.
And he is willing to cut a very deep discount on a ship like this.
Worst case
Okay.
scenario, he tries to kill us and we kill him back. So I'm down.
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, yeah.
This goes sideways murder. It's fine.
Let me phrase that. Sal kills him back.
I think just as a precautionary measure, I'll put this out there. I am constantly thinking of like just the worst things,
I know, it's really annoying.
right? Like no, I mean like specifically like when I meet new people, it's a
No,
thing.
I know.
Like
it's
just
more that, yeah.
yeah, like I'm just thinking about like the most horrific, weird depths of the internet kind of shit you could think of. Like
Yep.
that stuff, I just try and keep running through my head so that he would be appalled if he tried like uses his crazy psychic powers to get to me.
Lou is going to invest in a nice tinfoil hat for you so that doesn't leak out your ears.
Well, like, you know, we get to be friends. It's not going to be a thing. But Especially if I'm even a little suspect that like somebody maybe has a deal that might be too good a deal
Oh, for sure.
or whatever.
Right.
But it
this
seems okay to
definitely
me. Yeah.
like this. Yeah, this definitely is a very good deal. Kind of you and Sal would both read like this guy must be pretty desperate.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Just
Not
being
unusual.
forthcoming. And he starts he's running the numbers with you, right, of what it is. And he like, oh, how many ship shares do you have? What do you have? What's your interest in this? And he basically said, like, so look, here's the deal. You guys being all in, when it's all said and done, right, you're going to get this ship that, if you were to try to go and buy a Safari class ship, it's going to cost you like, 64, 65 mega credits. I can do this for you. I will set up a loan for 14 and a half mega credits. That means your monthly payment, and he's sitting there like on his little, Omnipad communication device, net crawler, calculator, video watcher, cappuccino machine, everything he does. And he says, like, that comes to just over 60,000 credits a month is your payment, which is ridiculous. And you all would know enough to know, like, that's actually a very obtainable amount of money, right? Some of you have more than that in your pocket, right? And he talks about the bank that it'll be with. It's all set up, like, but of course, I want you to see the ship. I want you to see that what you're actually getting. Look, I'm just going to be real candid. I've been trying to move this ship for a little while. I've got debts I got to pay. And I've got money I need to move.
It can't hurt to look.
This is a way where, strangely enough, in the ways of the galaxy, we actually all win. It rarely happens, but I'm kind of at my wit's end here.
Listen, let's go take a look. No promises, but we'll at least go take a look.
Great. So he'll take you to his ship, which is somewhat cramped quarters. It's an old courier ship, a scout courier. It's 100 tons. There's a couple of you will, like, basically there's, like, he's got his quarters, and then there's a couple of, like, bunk bed stateroom type things, right? So you'll have to double up to sleep. It's a jump away, which means it's going to take about a week to get there, because that's how long a jump takes. And so if there's anything anyone would like to do at the station before we go, we'll move to going to the nebula.
I'm gonna get a growler of that beer on the way out of the bar.
Okay.
We're gonna be on a ship for a week.
Yeah, good point. I would like to buy a gun.
Yes, absolutely.
I may join you in that purchasing of a gun. I can use a gun. I can use a gun. I had to check.
So yeah, he's happy to say, well, look, I'll get the ship. I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna do my safety check, run through everything, make sure I'm fueled up. I've got stores on board. Why don't we meet in 4 hours?
Okay.
Okay, great. And he gives you his docking slip number. He's like, this is so good. This is good. I feel so good about this. And he scurries off. So if y'all would like to buy some stuff, let's do it real quick.
Weapons. I have some guns picked out. I think she probably would have purchased them already.
Sure.
I've been here for a little bit.
Yep. And if you know what they are and you've already accounted for them through the central supply catalog, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
What are Blue and Miles? What are you in the market for?
I do have gun combat as a skill.
Mm-hmm.
Did we establish that we can use pew pew lasers guns?
You
Are they available to us?
they will be there might be some on the station. I think that if you were going to buy a slug thrower, you probably could find that on your own to be able to get that.
Okay.
If you wanted to find a pew pew gun, which there are some available, you would require a streetwise roll. You'd have to know who to talk to. So if you would either have to try to figure that out or have the assistance of someone who's been on the station for a little bit who has that ability.
Sal, hey.
Yes.
If one was in the market as a newcomer to the station and a well-dressed sock, if someone was in the market for personal protection, let's say.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Where would one go looking?
All right. My favorite gun store is right down the street. I'll take you.
Are they affordable?
Yes, it's the most affordable one. There's two other ones they'll rip you off.
Wonderful. If you don't mind, I would love to make some purchases.
Absolutely. I love gun shopping.
I'm like digging through the compendium looking for the rifles, and it's like at the very beginning.
Yeah, if you're if you want to look at the energy rifles, right? That's you want to look at anything that's tech level 11. There's definitely stuff you can get. Or at least you could see if they have them. They may.
I can't even find them hold on. There we go.
So you guys will go down to.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll go down to your favorite shop, which is using my NPCs, which is and maybe one of the reasons you like it is that it is the gun shop that has a female proprietor.
Yay!
And it is run by Parker Vangelos, and it is Parker's Picks is the name of it.
Sorry, I saw flamethrower and I got distracted.
Always a good thing to get distracted by.
There are a lot of options here, but they're all ridiculous.
So so you walk in. She runs a small shop, but she has a reasonable selection of, most importantly, well-maintained equipment. She's not trying to, in your dealings with her, Sal, you never felt like she's tried to rip you off. And has good gear.
Guns work well, don't cost too much. Sounds good to me. While Blue is picking her guns, I'll just run through quickly what I picked. I have, I think I went with slug weapons. Yeah. I picked the body pistol, which is fun because it's not super detectable. Combat rifle.
Great.
Some, heavy gunplay. And then since I have sniper capabilities, long range rifle.
Great.
And then a dagger and a stun stick for funsies.
Can never have too many toys.
Mm-mm.
So you took took the combat rifle. Is that the one you took, or which was the rifle you took? I'm sorry.
Advanced combat rifle.
Oh, the ACR. Great.
Yeah, and then there's just a regular rifle that's more of a long range one.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
So you come in, she's like, Sal, hey, it's been a little while.
Yeah, I've been busy doing, chaperoning. It's been fun. Pretty boring actually. Not too much trouble out off planet lately.
Well, the best gun is the one you don't have to pull.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, hard to pick a best gun. Kind of opens her jacket slightly.
Well, you are one of my better customers, Sal, which is why I like you. Are these friends of yours?
Yeah, I brought you some new customers actually. Some friends of mine, Blue and Miles, are in the market, as it were.
Well, I hope I can help you out. What are you looking for?
Mm, I don't love using guns, but I feel like I'm gonna need something. I did find this. She picks up the stunner.
That is excellent for self-defense, non-lethal,
I
but
think that's something
can
ideal.
stop a charging rhino if you needed to.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking at the stunner that tech level 10 because
Yep.
the next level is 12. And then everything else within this category is out of our tech level.
Mhm.
Oh, no, found a laser pistol. Never mind. Sorry. I got excited.
I mean,
What do you think?
it really comes down to, I mean, I definitely have some quality stunners, great battery charge on them. And you can never go wrong with a stunner. The best part is, if you have to use it, nobody ends up dead, which tends to keep you out of problems.
I hate that I care about that. That of the gauntlet laser, which is still within our tech level. I mean, thinking of this as a last resort item, let's go with the stunner. I can kill people with my brain. I mean, stunner.
Sure. Great. She'll
fine.
take one out and she shows it to you and shows you how to operate it. It's not difficult to use it. Point it in the correct direction. Here's the safety.
Amazing.
And you fire it off. And it's incredibly effective. Also, I will say, an excellent weapon if you find yourself in 0G, because no kickback on a stunner.
I love it. Yes, I will keep that. I'll take that. And I think that's the only thing I desperately need.
Great. She'll ring you up. And even though you're on a station, right, and kind of at the outskirts of known space, which is typically, I always equate this to like the gold rush where they had the towns, right? And you're like, a shovel's $8? Like, it's, because they're like, yeah, where else can you get a shovel? She's charging prices you would expect to pay closer coreward, right? So that's my expectation. You're getting book price.
Yeah.
Because Sal brought you here. And so you're getting the referral discount. So the stunner's $750. You take that off your credits.
We'll definitely come back if Blue ever decides to be taken over by Clara's chaos gremlin tendencies. Which is
and what about you?
likely.
I'd like some slug throwers here.
Oh, I definitely have some of those.
Fancy. So I wanted to get a snub pistol, an auto pistol, and a shotgun. And you know what? Let's do 10 mags for each.
Sure. Not a problem. And she goes in, she's pulling stuff out of the display cabinet. She's like, and just regular rounds, standard?
Just standard rounds for each. That's
great.
Fine.
And she'll ring you up for that. We can do the cost off of all those things offline. I know you have the credits for it.
Yep.
And sometimes shopping is boring for the people who are watching.
Yes.
But we bought weapons, which is pretty important. So
we can make sure to fill anything out between.
Yes, we'll do all the bookkeeping offline.
Yes.
That's great, fantastic. Sal, I'm so glad you brought them in. And
oh yeah, I wasn't gonna let him go to one of the other gun stores. This one's the best one.
Oh, I really appreciate that. I work really hard to make sure that I'm getting people quality equipment at a reasonable price.
Mm-hmm. Your guns have always served me well, so.
I already love her. Nothing can happen to her during this game.
Yes,
the gun store
yes,
lady.
Benjamin.
Can I have purchased a Diplo vest and a Protect suit at some point?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, and if there's before getting here, if there's any bits and bobs you wanted to have picked up, like armor, if you got someone new came out, we'll do all that in our off time.
Yeah.
I'll do my best not to get us in a gunfight in the next hour.
A week-long trip to a nebula with a stranger to see a ship we don't know that we want to buy.
Yep.
Sounds fun.
Yep.
I'm also, before we leave, I'm gonna update my dead drop.
Okay.
Right, with like if it doesn't hear from me in 3 weeks, that Ezra, whatever his last name
Wakeman.
was, Wakeman is the ship dealer that I took off on a journey to look at a ship from
Got it.
Yuma Station. You know, all of the details about that.
I love it.
Do you want to try to get more information on him before you go? You have 4 hours. How complete do you want your dead drop thing to be?
Well, I mean, like, I would probably check to see if he's actually a registered ship broker here.
Okay.
Right.
Go ahead and make computers
Oh, okay.
check.
No problem.
Or investigate, whichever you think is better for you. And add your int to that.
Oh, okay. 13.
Sure. So Ezra Wakeman, you definitely see where an Ezra Wakeman has gotten on the station. And you see that he's got a ship that's in the same docking slip that he gave you, right? That all checks out. You don't really see a record of him being a authorized ships broker. He doesn't have, like, there's no license for that. But there is an Ezra Wakeman. There is a ship.
Is
You
there like
couldn't
an
find a photo of him.
unemployment record with the ship dealer? Nothing like that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, that's fine. So, like, I'll include all of that.
Sure.
You know, what date he arrived on the station, all of that stuff.
Photo, like all the stuff
Yeah,
you
yeah.
pull out of the when they land, they're grabbing photos, and you know.
I'd probably include the names of my compatriots as well.
Alrighty.
All of our names?
All of our
Yeah.
names?
Well, what I know of them.
Fine. If we're dead, I don't care anymore.
Like, you don't have to worry about it. If it works out fine, nobody's ever going to see this.
All right.
We're gonna have words later.
Maybe, but then I'll know something extra.
That's true.
All right. If there's no other business to take care of, you go to slip D, or the slip, not slip D. You go to the slip where he's at, and there he is in his ship, which is a modified scout courier ship. It's
gonna be pretty cozy then.
It is. It will be somewhat cozy. It's the his ship name is the Carpe Per Diem.
Huh.
Nice.
And he's like, oh, great, excellent. You're here. I've made sure that I brought in extra stores. You know, I want this trip to be as well as comfortable as can be. It's, you know, my ship's a small ship. It's a humble ship, but you know, I think the week's gonna pass just like that. And he invites you in, and he's, you know, if you brought bags, he's
Yep.
bringing them in, and get you in, and you can. He's basically got 2 rooms that have bunks, so you can decide who's bunking with who.
I don't have a preference.
Neither do I.
A bunk is a bunk.
A bunk is a bunk, and Blue doesn't sleep much.
Yeah, as long as I get top bunk, I don't care.
That's fine. Top bunk sucks.
All right, sounds like Sal and Benjamin are in one,
That's fine.
and Blue and Miles can be the other. Hey, it's kind of like when you were in basic.
It's kind of like basic,
Exactly.
except Miles isn't puking at every party.
Hey.
You cannot hold your alcohol.
Well, you know.
Or at least you
Then-
couldn't.
I've learned better. I'm better now.
Are you?
So this is a perfect segue into what I'd like to do with our week of travel. Dave, that is a big dog.
As a doggy.
As a dog.
Yeah. She's not actually that big. She's just very tall. She's only like 45 pounds of dog. But
Oh,
she
wow.
is
Tall. She's got height.
Yes. She is
Um,
very lithe.
So this segues really perfectly in what I'd like to do with this week. I would like, over the course of the week, you get to know each other better. You're sharing meals. Ezra comes across as a pretty reasonable person. You kind of get the idea that maybe he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. And really what he needs to do, and I'll start, he'll kind of over kind of one of the group meals on the first day, he says, like, look, I'm just gonna tell you guys, like, I find myself in a bad place. I owe some people some money. I don't have the money to pay them. So what I'm having to do is I'm having to launder some money. I've got connections into one of the banks. So this is the only way I figure to do it. I found the ship, but I can't sell it because it's hot. Because it's not like I bought it legitimately,
Mm-hmm.
as I think you've all pretty clearly understood. But I know that I can move that ship, and with the money that goes in the loan, I can, plus the money I owe them, I can legitimately launder enough cash for these people where they're going to forgive my debt. So I really hope you like it, because I'm kind of running out of time, which is why I'm cutting you as good of a deal as I can.
All right.
It's just that it's hot. There's nothing else wrong with it. Well,
I've flown it a little bit. I got into the nebula. It worked fine for me. I didn't have any problems with it. I don't have a lot of experience with it. It's just the fact that I don't have legal paperwork for it. But like I said, I mean, I try to be really upfront about that, right? Hidden transponder it however you want to. You can get one off of a wrecked ship. You can hack your own. You know, maybe you can take the one in there and jury rig it around. I don't know how good you guys are at what you do, or even what you do. And honestly, I don't need to know that stuff. Right? All I know is that, you know, in the time that you know we talked, you showed me your lines of credit, where your ship shares were. All that stuff checks out. You know, I know you're good for what we've talked about. I'm just trying to move this thing.
Okay.
we'd be happy to do you the favor.
Yep.
So the next night, I would like one of you to tell a story about someone else at the table you know.
I only have mean stories about Miles.
Perfectly fine.
You can tell all of them.
Acceptable.
Yeah. Miles and I went through basic together, and you have to understand that military people work about as hard as they party, and they work you really hard in basic. And Miles was maybe 90 pounds when we met, and 6'2". And so there was a night we all went out, and he always got all this shit from the other guys, and he decided that he was gonna prove his worth. And he basically, do you remember that really, really old movie, The Hangover? The next morning we found
A
we had
space
to-
tiger?
Space Tiger. We had to follow his clothes from the barracks throughout the academy sort of complex, all into an empty pool where he was found with a pile of just dirty gym socks, and we don't even know where they came from.
Still don't know.
We still
Never
don't
learned.
know. And also an admiral's hat. And that was it.
Yep. Sounds. Yep. I remember most of those things.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I mean, the tooth, the replacement tooth looks great.
Thank you.
A little smaller than the others.
A little
but,
bit. A little bit. We did the best we could.
We appreciate you all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's why his nickname is Jim Sock.
Beautiful.
I don't know why I'm in a sock mood this week.
A real
Go with
sock
it.
theme.
Real
Love it.
sock theme.
They're cozy. It's been chilly outside.
So the next evening, I think, as things go around, Blue, who do you want to hear tell a story? You've shared something.
I want to hear Ben tell a story. I think Blue has been like kind of picking on him because she knows way more about him than he knows about her.
Here's an important question. Does it have to be a story about somebody else?
Yeah, somebody else at the table.
Oh, okay.
So it's either going to be Miles or Sal, right?
Fair. Well, I guess I'll tell the tale of like the first time I met Sal. I was just getting started. Broadcasting. It's a tough medium to crack into. But I had done some research and I'd found some things that basically led me to the doorstep of this corporation that they were hiring independent miners and sending them out to mine this dwarf planet. And then when they'd come back, all their paperwork would be lost. And they'd have to pay all kinds of fees to bring their harvest into the dock. And they kept shuffling the whole paperwork thing around so much. These poor miners were just really getting the short end of the stick, right? And I tried to get into their system so that I could straighten all that out and expose this company for being so seedy in their business practices. And I couldn't get it. And so, I turned to looking for somebody with some skills that I don't have. And Sal is very good at what she does. And we made contact online. And the next thing I know, she not only had gotten into the company, gotten one of their server blades out of their information racks and gotten out, but I didn't hear anything about it, right? I would have expected that company would have shut everything down and locked down their whole station, but she got in and out of there before they even noticed. And I can't imagine how hard that was. But kind of put me on the map, right? I managed to use that, get that story out there, and next thing I know, I'm on the Galaxy Broadcasting Service talking about corporate corruption. That's kind of what made me a name, I all thanks to Sal. It's really I can't imagine anybody that's able to get in and out of somewhere as well as that.
Oh, what a compliment. That was a fun job.
Like, I still don't know that you wrecked some guy on that job.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's never told you that.
Yeah.
So as the journey continues and next evenings and talk goes around, who do you want to hear a story from, Benjamin?
I think I want to hear a Miles story.
Ah. Well, all right. I'm going to tell a story about Blue. And about a time when I was serving under Blue on the Pegasus. And we were out on a deep patrol, sort of a long range thing. And we wound up on the same duty shift, sort of late, working in the engines. And it's still unclear as to what exactly happened. Whether or not it was something I did or something Blue did, or possibly someone else on the ship hit the wrong button at the wrong time. But Blue and I were stuck in a small, unused engine chamber for like all night. It was like basically we were locked in an elevator together and had to sit there telling each other sort of our life stories and our existences as we tried to figure out how to get this door to reopen and tried to rewire it. And, that's when Blue told me the story of her prom on her mining planet. She was the prom queen, the thing that she doesn't tell a lot of people.
I fucking swear you swore. I made you swear. I made
Well,
you swear you take it to
listen,
your grave.
you told the sock
You know what?
story,
That's
so
fine.
it's
It's
only
fine.
fair.
I can
I'm
kill
not
you
gonna
with my
say
brain.
I'm not gonna say there weren't some tears. There was some bonding. It was a real nice moment for both of us. And then finally the next morning, we were able to get the door opened. And honestly, we have never spoken of that night ever again.
No, we never will.
No.
Shit suck.
Prom queen.
They will Blue will bump fists.
Can I have like a cargo pocket on my pants
Absolutely.
that I keep like a little tablet in that I've learned how to type
Yes. Oh, yes.
without people noticing, like touch typing under the table? Yeah,
Mhm.
because I'll totally take notes on everybody else's stories.
Amazing.
I guess that leaves Sal.
That leaves Sal. Well, I'm going to tell the story of how Sal taught Miles to drink.
Ah,
Oh, you learned.
We met.
I did.
He learned. Yeah, he was a good student too. We were in this real divey bar, closer to the core, and didn't know anybody there myself, and just sidled up to the bar. Turns out Sal here also knows my ex, Ty's Calden,
Right.
and
What
what a jerk. So he hates me. What, by the way, he's like my mortal enemy. And he had written this song that got kind of popular. It was like supposed to be a diss track, but actually it makes me sound kind of cool. And they were playing the video for it on the screen there at the bar. And Miles and I both yelled at the same time, "Turn that shit off!"
Yep.
Because that guy's a piece of crap. And
Yep,
I was
yes.
like, "Wait, you hate that guy too? How do you know him?" Long story short, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I bought him a drink. The first one, not so good.
No.
He was slurring pretty good by the end of that first drink, and was like, anybody ever teach you to drink there, Miles?" He was like, "No." Did not tell me the sock story though, which is pretty funny.
Who would?
To be fair, I don't know how much he remembers of the sock story.
That's fair. I don't know how much he remembers of the first night of carousing at that bar, but it was pretty fun. He held his own pretty good. He even got drunk enough to do the old no, you punch me and then I punch you.
Yeah.
We almost started a bar fight, not quite. It was great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. I don't think we're allowed in that bar anymore.
Nope, definitely not.
Yeah, but the one we went to at 4:00 in the morning, that one would welcome us back. I think your rendition of of We Are the World for some reason gains their favor.
I like the classics.
I like
What
the
can I say?
classics, yeah. He's a good singer.
No, thank you.
Was that Ezra's like, oh wait, was that the like original or the 2240 remake?
It was a blend of both.
Wow. You know, I've
Yeah, I think you got halfway through the original and then switched over.
Yep, slid right over.
Yep.
It was seamless.
These lyrics are hard to remember otherwise.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's a lot of lyrics. It's a lot of worlds to love.
it definitely went from We Are the World to We Are the Worlds, which
Yes.
was,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
but all for a good cause. All for a good cause. They're always trying to raise credits, you know.
True.
So another day of travel goes by, and you find yourself at a nebula, which he will. Ezra says, like, all right, well, we're going in. I've got the ship parked on an asteroid. I need to put in the nav controls here. So we go. I could definitely use some help going into the nebula. I gotta come off autopilot at this point.
Or unless
you know.
anyone else knows how to fly.
I do, but you're a better pilot than I am, Blue.
Cares to.
I mean, I could try.
You can drive in a pinch, but
let me figure this out. I think I actually have pilot starship, not sorry, I have pilot starship, not space small craft. So
Yeah, but this is fine. This is a starship. This is 100
cool.
higher. So he'll be on the comms. He's on the the basic electronic comms, like entering navigation stuff, and he's like, okay, great, yeah, and he's feeding you coordinates. So go ahead and make a piloting check. Should be pretty easy.
Remind me how I do this.
So you're going to roll 2d6. You want to roll an 8 or higher, and you apply your modifications for pilot,
I have a 1.
right, and dexterity.
I also have a +1 to dexterity.
Great.
So
So you're
the
going to
+2.
roll a 2d6 plus 2.
And what do I need to pass?
8 or higher.
Got an 8.
Okay.
Just fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you come in. It's a little choppy because you're in the nebula. He's guiding you towards an asteroid. You get the extra exciting challenge of landing on a rotational platform, which is as the asteroid's kind of tumbling, you're having to come in and geosync with it and then land. But you pull it off, and you are parked. Basically, you've landed very close to what is definitely a Safari ship, right? Which kind of looks like a very big, almost like flying wing is the configuration, right? Almost like
a manta ray.
Yeah, like a manta ray is a good description, right? Of the ship. And he's like, oh, hey, obviously, I got vac suits here. I'm happy to go with you to the ship or not, whatever you want.
Why don't you come with us? But we have to.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Vac suit up.
Okay. Yep. Nobody's going to try to do anything crazy in the vac suits right now, so I'm going to make you roll your vac suit roll. Those are kind of reserved for if it's like there's combat happening or I'm trying to,
put it on while the ship is being decompressed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is easy. You take your time. Everybody's in their vac suits, and you can head over to the ship. It is fairly nondescript. We didn't come up with what it looked like color wise from you guys, so we'll leave it as nondescript right now.
We'll have to repaint it anyway.
Yeah, you probably get a paint job anyway. But it looks not necessarily heavily beat up, but well worn, right? It is not a fresh coat of paint that's on it. And he gets you onto the ship. It's not locked or anything because he's not expecting anybody to come out here. at
Right.
this point. He's like, obviously you can set whatever code you want. But here's the ship, closes it up, throws on life support and the grav generator, and you are on the ship.
Great.
Let's take a look around.
Yeah.
So over the week we had talked about a cheap ship is going to have a lot of quirks, as it were.
Yep.
Are we
Quite
rolling for
possibly.
that?
I mean, quite possibly. It's it's an older ship. You're not, by looking at it, you can't tell how old. It is definitely a outdated design, right? Nobody's building ships exactly like this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's not dramatic change, but like this one, it doesn't have some of the aileron fins that the later models have for better steering in the atmosphere, but it is a ship that can land in the atmosphere if you want it to. As you examine it, it does have its air raft,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically a grab vehicle that you can seat some people in. It's an open top. It's for being on a planet with breathable air, or it has it's almost like a convertible, right? It can come off or go on. Actually, no, it doesn't. Sorry, they don't. The air rafts don't. Like if you're going to be on this asteroid driving this thing, you would have to be in your vac
Wear a
suit,
suit,
right? Yeah. This is,
Um,
and it still has its small, it's like small shuttle pod type thing, right?
How-
So
Yeah.
How modular are these ships that we might be able to upgrade it later?
they're pretty modular.
Okay.
It can it's varying degrees of pricey
Mhm.
to do it, but this is though an old design, it's one that's common enough, right? Where if you wanted to make alterations, you could mod it.
And I mean, beggars can't be choosers, and
Yeah.
we're not the most
Right.
Yep.
flush.
So the way I think would be interesting to do this is while you're examining the ship,
Mm-hmm.
because we've all talked about this offline, is that this is a very old ship, like, and kind of the more you examine it, the more you're going to find out how old it is.
Old as balls.
Um,
Sorry.
But I would like to start with
Like the corridors are measurably smaller because of the layers of paint.
It
That's
has
right, like-
it has like an AUX jack, and we haven't had to use an AUX panel in
That's
centuries.
That's right. It's like, yeah, like you can see where there's obviously over time been modifications, but it is one of those things that you start to look at the ship and examine it. It's like, well, that's interesting.
What's a cassette deck doing?
Yeah,
here?
wow. It looks like there used to be some other audio device in here that's been replaced at least a couple times. All the bolts are stripped,
I didn't even know they made this ship with an 8-track.
Yeah. Jeez.
Who knew? So I'm trying to think if there would actually be. I'm going to have each of you make a roll against what you consider to be your shipboard specialty.
Hmm.
I'm gonna roll like crap every time.
So probably for blue, that's piloting, as I recall. Like
Mhm.
pilot's probably your best. And just make them against that your skill plus int or edu, your choice.
Ah,
So tell me what your skill you're going to roll against on that you believe is applicable to investigate, like looking over this ship.
6 + 3 is 9. I can do basic math. 10.
Excellent.
Well, hold on, my EDU is actually higher than that. Oh no, it's not. +1. 10.
Okay, great. You passed.
What seems better? Because I could do engineer, power plant, or mechanic.
Probably engineer would be
Okay.
more applicable.
Great. Then engineer power plant is a 1, and I'll use my education, which gives me another +1, and that is an 11.
Great. All right. So we've got piloting station, engineering. Benjamin,
I rolled for computers.
right?
I got a snake eyes.
Excellent.
Oh no.
I love
Oh
that.
no!
It's
Well,
+5, but I don't think that helps.
well, you don't pass, but
Wait, +5?
yeah, he's
Yeah.
really good at
Oh, I
computing.
forgot. You have
I'm-
like a 3 in computers, and then
No,
like...
I'm very, very educated.
Yes.
Oh.
Adding his
Yeah.
EDU is like second, and
Wait, what's
computers
your
is his
EDU?
jam.
Mine is +3
Holy
Yeah, he's
shit!
got
Wow.
15, right?
How?
Wow.
because I just
You-
never stop reading.
That's true. You did not stop going to school. I remember this now.
Right. Which is why sometimes his cast can get like really esoteric,
Super wonky.
like
Yeah.
super wonky,
Yeah.
and which has garnered him a specific listener base. When he
Mm.
does those, they're like, oh my God, he's going.
Yeah.
And how about you, Sal?
I think the most applicable thing I have is recon.
Okay.
Looking at chips is not really her forte. I got a 6.
Okay. Great.
Yep, it's a
So
ship.
yeah. So Sal, you're like, oh, hey, just seems like a ship.
It's a ship. You could put a lot of bodies in here.
Slaps the top of the ship. This baby can...
Baby can hold
So
so many corpses.
So Miles on the engines, yeah, they've definitely been refurbished a couple of times, right? They look like they're in pretty good shape. But you know, this is nowhere near original parts at this point. And in fact, like you would be able to tell, oh, this looks like in the power plant. This is probably the most recent refurb that got done, and that's a good 20 years ago. On the piloting station, this is probably you can tell numerous things have changed over time. Some of that may be because of the whims of the pilot or the captain, or due to necessity. Like you can see where there used to be a different sized pilot's chair, and they've brought in a different one, and that's been bolted in, but it didn't fit over the same bolting, so they patched over where the former bolt holes were because it's a different size base. And the control panel is kind of a hodgepodge. Like it's all fine, it all functions, you know, but it'd be like today, if you went in a car and you're like, oh, I've got a tachometer from a 68 Chevy, and I've got a speedometer from a 93 Vet, and I've got a stick shift from a Mack truck. And it's just like, everything's there and it all works.
I love
But
it. It has character.
It's definitely, yes, it has a lot of
It has
character.
a lot of character.
Benjamin, it has a computer. You can't get it, you really can't seem to get it online. You know, like it's there, right? And like everything checks out, but for some reason you're having a lot of difficulties getting it online.
Okay. Well, I mean, it seems like it's there.
Right.
Needs some repairs, probably.
Right. You probably need to spend some time with it.
Yeah.
It seems finicky,
Mm.
right? Probably not damaged. Not spinning up though, really. You know, or real limited access, right? It's like, or real slow, you know, when you get it up, it's like, you know, you manage to get it right. It's like, man, this is a dog. This thing is just not, and this dog don't hunt. This is an old dog. It sits by the fireplace.
Oh.
But they keep your feet warm, so that's the important part.
I'm like pack bonding with this shitty ship.
So during this investigation, I would like you all to decide. We're going to make 3 rolls on my special created spaceship quirks table.
Yay.
It is a D66 table, so you're going to need a high and a low, and we're going to start with 3 rolls.
So we're
Who
each
would
make-
like to make the first roll?
I'll go.
All right.
All right. So my high is it's a 6. Actually, it's a 66.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it could be real good or real bad. I'm excited either way.
This is where we get the haunted ship.
All right. So
When the airlock creaks.
all right. Okay. That one will show up. Somebody else roll.
Oh shit!
Oh, I love it.
Oh no, I love this. Dave, you want to go?
No, go. I heard the rattling already. Go.
51.
51. So during the examination, one of the things that you all kind of put together is that the astrogation system, so this is navigating through space, is really old. Like, it has not been updated in a long time. It is slow. This is one of the slow systems that you've encountered, Benjamin. And you know that you're going to have, like, you would have it would be more difficult to, for example, like, quickly do astrogation to make a jump or to figure out where you're going, right?
It has the old like vaguely racist names for the planets rather than like the new ones.
Yeah, exactly.
They still call it Siam.
That's right. Yeah, it's like Siam. Yeah, it's a little bit like when we moved back from London and got Elspeth's car out of storage, and she turned on the nav on it. It hadn't been updated in years, so it was like, hey, there's a street there now that doesn't show up on your nav system because you actually have to go to the dealership to update it. It doesn't do it over the wire. So it's like that kind of thing. Like, you know, you just look at some of the stuff and you're like, wow, it's really sluggish, right? And you kind of do a check and you're like,
Yeah, it's that touchscreen where you put your finger on it and you move it, and then you got to count to 5.
Yeah.
And then it moves.
Exactly. So
Well, it's nothing a little clairvoyance can't fix, right?
Sure. I mean, you know, as long as you're not in a hurry, it's probably fine, right? Mechanically, so the name of that quirk is Wandering in the Dark, and mechanically, you're a neg 1 DM to an astrogation roll, right?
Wow.
Again, if you have time, right? That's a thing you can do in Traveler, is you can exchange time for die modifiers. So if you're like, oh, we got plenty of time, we're going to plan this jump out, we're going to take, you know, as much time as we need, then it's really easy. Where that's going to come into play is if you get yourself in a situation where like you got to like hot nav.
We got to get out of here.
We got to get out of here quick. You know, punching the numbers in the astrogation. It's a negative. All right. Somebody else roll.
Sam,
One
you want to
more.
go?
You can go.
Okay.
Go for it.
Here we go. Big money, big money. A 32.
32. There we go. You'll like the Sam, I think especially will like the name of this one. The name of this quirk is Peace Through Superior Firepower.
Yeah.
The ship, as you're checking, you're like, hey, I don't think, and you kind of look at some specs, you're like, you know, a belly turret is not standard on this ship.
Ooh.
So the ship is equipped with an extra turret.
Cool.
So
Nice.
there's one that's on top, right? And then this one has one that's on the bottom as well.
I love it.
So this goes over the course of the day. You're finding this stuff out. And so Ezra says, so what do you guys think?
I think we need a new nav system.
Yeah.
Is it not work?
It technically works in the way that like it does turn on.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's not that bad.
It's not technically like bad, I guess. I'm literally trying to do the mental math on like how I can, if clairvoyance will let us navigate without, because technically if I could see where we're going. Just don't know if I know how to get there.
Might be tough to punch that into the computer, but sure.
I kind of wish I
Who
had
knows?
tested well in teleportation.
Your clairvoyance is like, what would the final numbers be when the machine finally finishes calculating?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
either going to
just
get us to the
checking.
planet or I'm going to win the lottery again. One of those two
Yeah,
things
we
is
could
gonna
do one of
happen.
those two things. I forgot I won the lottery. Also, over the week that we were on we were headed over, we played poker, and every time Blue won.
Of course.
Like every single hand or just enough? To
Just
win.
just enough to win.
All right.
Perfect.
I'm a little petty. Yeah, no. What's that 66 do?
Well, you'll find out. Oh, you'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Sal has already like put some of her stuff in the belly turret and like moved in. Like you just her head pops up out of the turret. And she's like, I like it. Goes back in.
All right.
I don't like arguing with the weapons happy salamander. Like, I think we have to get the ship.
I mean, the price is right.
Yeah, the price is right. I mean, listen, I think we're taking the ship. Like,
Yeah, we're gonna take the ship regardless.
we came all this way. We're
Nothing
taking the
here
ship.
seems so bad that I'd be like, oh no. Like,
Yeah.
It
I mean-
makes air.
Well, you're. I hope you're saying you're going to buy the ship, not you're taking the ship. Maybe I was stupid and I just put a lot of trust in you guys. I've just now realized this might have been a poor decision on my part.
No, listen. If we got out here and this ship didn't work and you tried to do something like trap us out here or something, then maybe we'd have two ships.
The ship
But
does turn on
you're
and shit,
okay.
right?
Yeah, the ship turns on. We'll buy the ship.
Yeah,
Fine.
I decided like 3 days ago we're not gonna kill you, so we'll buy the shit.
Yeah, if Sal was gonna kill you, you would very much already be dead.
I
That is
totally
true.
believe that. I totally believe that. She's very intimidating. You're very intimidating. I totally believe that.
Oh, thanks.
So, okay, great. So he pulls out his data communication calculator, pad cappuccino maker, and puts the contract together. He's like, great. He signs it. It's set up through, you can see it's through a known reputable bank.
Mhm.
It, very much reads like a purchase agreement that you would, I mean, it definitely, for all ways that you could examine it, unless someone wants to make some kind of forensics roll to check, right? Which you're certainly welcome to do. And he says, like, you please go ahead and examine. Like, I would say have your lawyer look at it, but I don't know if any of you are a lawyer. I have no idea. But in any case, it's a standard purchase contract. It's going to run through this bank, and
I'm going to read the whole thing.
Lister
Okay.
might be a lawyer.
I've got a little bit of advocate experience.
all right,
Blue
you go
is
ahead and roll
placing her-
again. Plus, probably advocate, because everything's always plus a stat, which I love. Plus either int or edu, either one. Probably int. I don't know if your education really helps you in this one.
Okay. So that's 2, 3,
Blue's
9.
placing her like trinkets on the
Mhm.
dash.
So this very much is a standard form. It
Okay.
is. In fact, you're reading it, you're like, oh wow, this is as boilerplate as you could probably make this thing.
Cool.
Right?
All right.
He just
There's no like in the middle of this giant long agreement. It doesn't pop up with like, hey, if you're late by 1 day, then I take everything you ever owned.
Right. No.
And-
And in fact, it's not even with. I mean, he's signing as the broker, right? But it's not even with. It's like with him. It's like with the bank,
Sure.
right? So it's standardized. And in fact, the purchase that you're making it with grants you like the first month is covered in that, right? So
Sure.
that gives you about 60 days until you have to make your first payment, and it's got payment cycle. He asked you, do you want to be on the 1st or the 15th of every cycle?
Never the first.
All right, 15th, great. He puts it on there. I mean, unless there's a date you want, I can put in whatever date you want.
No, 15th is good.
Okay, great. He puts that in. Yep, and it's just straight up legit actual contract. And so who are you all? Is
Uh,
assuming you're all going to
and
sign.
and
if
what
you're
was
all
that
putting
payment
in.
amount after we
The-
figure all our stuff in?
Yep, the payment amount is 60,000.
Per month?
Yes, 60. Ship 60,558.13
per month.
credits per month.
that we
Because
have
it's
to-
over 240 payments. It's a 40-year contract. That's standard.
Mhm.
Question. Since I have lived a life of crime, does it seem reasonable that I would have several aliases?
Actually, it's interesting. That's a specific benefit you get
Oh, okay.
to have aliases. So you probably just don't tend to sign a lot of legal paperwork
Okay. Then
unless you really have to.
yeah. She's fine with her name not being on the paperwork and just like giving her share to one of you guys. Like,
Okay.
I'm super fine with that arrangement as well if the person whose name is on the contract is not me.
So who are you both? Are you both nominating someone? Or
I
asking
nominate
someone?
Miles.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's me. It sounds like that I'm the clean name for the account here.
That's very true. Well, so Benjamin, Blue, and Sal are going to be like have Miles sign for it. Do you want to have? Are you signing with Miles, or is how you feel about your name showing up on a ship's registry?
No, I think it's a better idea. Like Miles is cool with running with that. Then sure.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I'm happy to sign over my 2 ship shares and
Yeah. No. Fine.
make that happen.
I'll be the technical legal owner, and you know what? It's fine because my family does have the deep pockets. So should anything go wrong,
Right. And really it probably raises the least suspicion, right? Like it
Yeah.
would make sense you'd be able to,
yeah.
front a ship. Okay, great. So everyone assigns their chairs over to Miles. Miles signs the contract. Ezra signs the contract as the broker. And he's like, well, and you've checked and it has fuel. Like, he's not, you get the impression he's not trying to pull one over on you. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, this is so fantastic. Whenever you get back to Yuma Station, like, look me up. We'll have a celebratory drink. This is great.
Great.
that's great.
Fantastic.
And he will head back to his ship and depart. So what do you guys want to do?
I want to know what the 66-year-old meant.
We should
We'll
drive
find
it
out.
around the block a few times.
Yeah, we're
let's
definitely going to
see what
fly it
happens.
around the block.
Okay.
Well, wait. Before we leave the thing and fly it around the block, what does it take to change the transponder?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, good point.
So the way that you would change a transponder, and probably, I mean, you would know this. Navy folks would know this. Benjamin might know this. Hell, Sal probably knows this. Like, you run in enough circles in your various areas of expertise. There's a couple ways you can do it. One, you would actually take a transponder from another ship. So you would appear to be another ship, right?
Right.
It's a bit like changing the plates on a car or changing the VIN number, right? Or you're going to create one with its own history to it, right? Obviously, those come with their separate risks.
Are any of us good?
Otherwise, it's going to show up as whatever it shows up as now.
Yeah. What skill would we use to change them? Because I vote let's change them.
I vote let's change it.
Mm-hmm.
That would be computers.
I mean,
I think we have someone here.
I'm usually pretty good at that, I swear.
well, you can give it a shot. I at least have the skill. I don't have a number in it, but I at least have the skill in computers.
Right. So someone can assist if someone wants to be the, if for example, if Benjamin wants to do the work and Miles wants to assist.
Yeah.
You can do that. So Miles, if you roll an 8 or higher, then you add a +1 to Benjamin's roll.
Can we take like a little extra time?
Yes, and you can take the time which lowers the difficulty. There's a whole new way that gets done. Traveler 2.0.
Okay.
Which is because if you're aiming, it gives you pluses, right? But when you're doing a task, difficulty, you can take longer because the tasks are depending on the difficulty of the task, right? So you're trying to create a new transponder, right? You're not putting one in.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
Right.
Yep. We're
So
creating a
that
fake transponder.
that is I will say not quite that much. It's very difficult, which means you need a 12 or higher for it to
Mhm.
happen, right?
Okay.
So for every amount of time you take, time frames. So normally this might take like 4 hours to do, right? This is the equivalent to like researching a problem, right? Now, if you want to take 1D times 10 hours, you could reduce it from a 12 to a 10. Or if you wanted to take 1D days, then you could reduce it down to an 8.
Let's just do the hours, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah.
All right. So roll a D6 and tell me what that number is times by 10, and that's how many hours it takes.
Oh God.
Did you roll or shall I?
No, go for it.
2.
All right. So it's going to take 20 hours.
20
So 4.
hours?
Okay.
Yep. 20 hours. For you guys to do the transponder.
Cool.
And so Miles, go ahead and roll to assist and let me know if you had an 8 or higher.
And I just add the computers. That's computers, just straight computers.
Computers and I think this would be computers and int. I think
Computers and intellect. Cool.
Yeah.
Ooh. Hold on. I do not. I got a 7.
Okay. Didn't have any rerolls left over from character gen, did you?
Nope.
All right. Okay. So Miles doesn't hinder you in any way, but
Right.
all
right.
getting a big benefit.
So I feel like before I make this roll, we should have the name discussion.
That's true. We should.
Because I got to know what to type in.
I cannot think of names. I literally have a generator pulled up.
Does anybody have any thoughts or preferences?
I mean, we are in a nebula, so maybe the nebula.
What's the name of the nebula we're in? Bill.
Oh, sure. It is. Are you going to look it up in your astral, in your ancient?
It'll take 20 hours to
You got
find the
you got
name.
20 hours, so sure, why not?
That's true.
Yes, you check, and it's not the nebula itself. Let me see. Oh my God, why are my planet and place names tabs empty in my OneNote? Damn you, Bill. It's the Astrades Nebula.
The Astrades Nebula. We did talk about calling it the Ursula as well because we were the poor unfortunate crew.
Oh, that's right.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I
I do like that.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Yeah.
All right.
We've named it the Ursula.
Then I know what the
Excellent.
paint scheme can be too.
Mhm.
Purple and
yeah.
black.
Yeah.
That's
The
pretty
edge
rad.
lords we are.
All right. Big money, no whammies. Here we go. Yes.
Oh.
Ha-ha! Well, I beat 10.
Did you
I got 10 on the dice.
Okay, great. Yes, and your
And then
pluses.
plus 2 plus so 14.
All right, you have created a transponder where this is registered. You've put all the registration data in for Miles. It shows as you feel very confident that this is going to pass muster, in any docking bays you're going to go into. Good Lord, especially out here, right? That you now have the Ursula.
I love it.
Hooray.
So when you put that in, a prompt comes up, Dave,
Mm-hmm.
that asks if you would like to assign this as if you would also like to assign this as the name of the computer.
I don't
Yeah. Sure.
This is a sentient ship, isn't it?
And so you assign the name, and
Sentient ship.
throughout the ship, then you hear saying like, "All Ursula online. How can I assist you, Miles?" And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Oh,
At our
I-
tech
I-
level.
I still want that computer to sound like Pat Carroll, though. Like 100%.
I'll work on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, 66 is which we will play through, is experimental AI.
oh, boy.
The ship has
Fun.
far more than a standard voice command integration. It has evolved a personality.
Oh boy.
I got to pack fun with our ship.
Yay.
So the other thing that we'll do is if your intent is to go back to Yuma Station, we could end the evening out in just a couple of minutes with rolling the rest of the quirks for the ship, which you would discover during the week-long journey back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
let's
think
do
that's
that.
the
I'm
right
s-
step, right?
I'm still holding out for the haunted ship too.
So, so as you, yeah, as during the course of the trip, I'm a little like, we're doing. I'm sorry, I had you to chat with Ursula a bit. We'll we might do that at the beginning, but let's roll the rest of the things with the ship so we can get those done. You will find out that Ursula will tell you like, well, though I've been a recent addition to the ship, it has quite a history. It's quite old.
Mm. Good to
How
know.
old is it?
She gives you a manufacture date that's slightly over 100 years ago.
Holy
Ooh.
crap.
It's a good long time.
And it's not like ships don't last that long, but
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, like, can we even establish that it's still the same ship it was 100 years ago, considering?
oh no,
your place apart?
we're very different. We have our roots, but we're not the same ship that we were then.
Oh, yep.
Ship of Theseus style.
Exactly.
So
I love that that's
who-
in the popular lexicon now. It's very
Yeah.
exciting to me.
I
Mhm.
literally have a book behind me that handles that talks about that problem, and it makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
So-
roll again.
Okay.
Let's get this on the road here.
How many quirks are we rolling for?
Total
We
It's
have 10
10.
quirks.
Sweet.
34.
34. So roll 2d6.
Uh-oh. It's exciting when there's a secondary roll.
Do I add it together?
Yes.
Cool. Then it is an 8.
Okay. Nothing adverse happens. But you notice during the week ship and after it jumped and everything, that the reactor core,
Mm-hmm.
and you wouldn't have noticed this on the planet, like you had to jump to see this happen, has a slight leak.
Oh.
Oh.
So not a highly discernible amount of rads on this jump, but it definitely probably spikes when you jump.
Okay. Good to know.
That's not great.
I'm
Like
gonna have to
home.
work. Gonna
Yes,
have to work on that.
Yes, that's a small leak can sink a great ship quirk.
Okay.
Ah.
Would someone else like to roll? Dave's got the hat on. He's ready.
I'm scared. Like, every time we roll, worse things happen to our
I
ship.
know. I haven't rolled yet. I'll go.
All right, you roll.
Yes.
Let's see. 45.
45. I have the power. The
It's
ship's,
like a-
He-Man?
the ship's power points are increased by 10%.
Whee!
So you notice that the ship is slightly more efficient. as you're running it during the week and you're doing your diagnostics. It's like, especially you, Miles, looking at the power plant. It's like, oh, hey, we're getting a little more power out of this.
We can
than
get
we
nowhere
expected.
fast.
So that's 5 more.
55.
55. That one will happen at the end of the trip. Next.
I hate you.
43.
43.
Somebody roll snake eyes. I want ghosts.
Super Scoopa. The ship's fuel processor efficiency is increased by 25%.
Nice.
As you've gone through and looked at that, that basically means that you will, if you use the scoops, right, to get fuel, that it processes it more quickly. You have less downtime.
Nice.
Because it does take a certain amount of time to process scoops off of gas giants. Where are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
3 more?
3 more.
I'll go again.
Alrighty.
How did I get the exact same number?
Roll over. We don't want the same numbers.
Roll them again. Okay. 62.
62. Roll another. Somebody roll another 2 dice, the 2d6, and add them together and tell me what you get.
Okay. 11.
Okay. So one of the things you noticed when you jumped, right? It's all kind of like retros and retcons a bit. Is that, and Miles, both you and Blue would have noticed this. There was no spin up time on the jump drive.
Ooh.
Normally, when you're like, I'm going to jump, there's like, you've got to get it charged and power everything. There was no spin up time.
Okay.
So you went from like, all right, hey, we're going to start jump. And you're usually expecting the lag. And it was like, nope, you jumped immediately.
Right.
Yeah,
Cool.
this ship can go nowhere very quickly.
Very
We don't know
quickly.
where we're going, but by the time we get there, we'll know.
Yep. All right.
Yep. Another one.
That one is a 21.
21. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Or try turning it off and on? So though it's got this, though obviously like there's been a lot of work done to the jump drive, right? It also, you'll notice like during the trip, you see it, Miles, you see it like kind of bumping in and out of calibration, right? And you're like, oh, this thing is going to be finicky as well. So basically you get a DM -1 to all engineering jump drive checks. So again, if you have to roll to do something to the jump drive, it's harder to do it because obviously it's been tinkered with a lot.
Got it.
Experimental jump drive.
So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We talked about something offline that I'll just tell everybody about. I'm just going to then, as the DM, GM, referee, arbiter of all things, assign the last number as 61, which is we're not alone, because all of you expressed that you wanted a haunted ship.
Yay!
So
Ship of ghosts.
yes. So we'll start the next session with how that manifests itself.
I love that Blue's gonna get 2 imaginary friends.
Are ya? We'll see.
Well, one you guys can talk to.
Yeah. Well, and as we adventure, I can make us more ghosts.
Yes, you can.
Oh no!
So there we go. Session 1. It's all about getting the ship coming together as a crew. One bit of slight housekeeping I was going to mention at the beginning, and I forgot to. Thanks to people that watched this afterwards on YouTube. In the comments, it was noted a couple of things. One, that connections weren't made. I went back and watched the entire thing. Actually, we missed one between Blue and Miles. that they went and did that connection of their skills for. The other one I noticed is that as hard as I tried to correctly drive us through character creation, I screwed up and gave Dave an entire extra career run. He actually went through 5 times, not 4. So we went back and he and I retconned it and pulled a bunch of stuff out. And then I made him buy a couple things, the stunner and that kind of stuff. But we made it so it was balanced. I love Traveler character gen, and even I, who have been doing it for a long time, still run into the problem every now and then where I miss a step. But hopefully that's all done. Thank you for everybody who's been watching. Again, this has been session 1 of Yuma Station, which is our Traveler 2.0 actual play on Happy Jacks RPG Network. Please go to happyjacksrpg.org to find out about all the other great things that are happening. Check out our calendar. Go and watch previous sessions of our game or any other games that we have. I'd like to pass it around the table one more time for anybody to talk about fun things they're doing or stuff they'd like to chat about, promote, discuss, have our last little bit out to the crowd. Anybody on any other stuff, other shows?
Not recently.
Nope.
You can find me on the Twitters, and you can find me at 12-Sided Stories doing those podcasts. And I think that's it these days.
Yeah.
I love your Eversync character, Jay.
Thank you.
He's so much fun.
Apgar Called the Raven is the best. And that's his full name, Apgar Called the Raven.
I love it. As I say, I'm not on it right now, but Games We Never Play is doing Call of Cthulhu this month. So we just released character creation, and this week has been we'll have released the first half of the AP. I cannot remember who's on it right now. I'm so sorry, but it's a good show, and if you like game reviews, always you can always check out our shows there. So gamesweneverplay.com. Or oh god, I'm tired. Jameson's gonna kill me. Is what I'm hearing now.
I'll throw out one little thing. So in tangentially game related stuff, I decided to explore the world of TikTok. If you go to TikTok, you can find me at Bill Freakin' Roper. And I did some sea shanty stuff, and I talk about some gaming things. I put googly eyes on stuff, which is interesting. But lately I've been spending a lot of time talking about Disney Infinity and showing figures on that kind of stuff. So if any of those things are interesting, I'm also finding that there are a lot of cool cultures on TikTok. There's just D&D TikTok and different stuff. So that's been super interesting to do. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everyone for playing. And we'll see you all out there.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.